Hey, everybody. It is a late night unleashed. It is Sunday. I'm wearing my Sunday sweater, which I'm going to be wearing every Sunday. It's just going to be a thing because I like it. And, I got to tell you, man, I'm a little bit underwhelmed and a little bit perturbed at the same time. And let me tell you why. I just got done watching a debate, and I'm going to call it a debate, even though I don't know in any way, shape, or form what categorizes as a debate. It was more like a discussion between idiots. But a debate between Tom Jump and Wotan, Votan, or whatever. We just call him Wonton. But there was absolutely nothing productive to become from it. It was like the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life. It is the same shit over and over again. Like Wonton has, it even admitted it. Anybody who's listening to me knows my shtick. He has the same shtick for 5 freaking years. Okay? 5 years he's been doing this. Now, when I used to watch some of these debates, the flat Earth debates, they were new, they were novel, they were enjoyable, they were entertaining. Had them on the non sequitur show, and we liked it. I get it, right? So I'm not dogging on debate as a whole. Like when Reg Rhetoric tears up a flat earther, we all sit around and enjoy it. Okay, it's fun. I get that. But by the same token, how many times can I hear Reg Rhetoric tell the same thing to a flat earther? I mean, I've listened to Reg Rhetoric's argument. They're sound, they're great, they're very well done. He knows his shit. Okay. But at that point, is there any need for a debate? Because all you have to do is say, hey, if you're going to debate Reg Rhetoric, Rez, you can stay home, have a beer, have some popcorn, just chill out. And why don't we just play this video that we did for the last 5 times that you said these things to a flat earther that didn't understand it? So I'm a little burnt out on it. I'm going to go over some of the stuff that was in that discussion because it was the same stuff. But I have a link in the video description. This just came in a little while to me. This is from my friend Ruhif. And Ruhif has a $10 million challenge. It's up to $10 million. There's people putting in money. There's anti-flat earthers that are putting up real money for this challenge. Now, Ruhif actually points it out in this particular video. I watched it very quickly, but I gleaned as much as I could from it. He notes to people that he's a very well-off individual. He probably made, I think it was like 30 million, give or take, before he was 30 from his business that he had, Tibera, I believe it's pronounced, which was a high-frequency trading company that he had started with a bunch of people, and they settled, and he became an instant multi-millionaire. And he has the financials to do something like these types of challenges, right? So, I mean, when he offers, up to $10 million, it is an actual challenge. My camera's off here. This is driving me nuts. My OCD is kicking in here. So let me fix this real quick. Hang on. There we go. And so he has a new video out. I put in the video in the description. Please go watch it and make sure you're subbed to him. By the way, I'm not subbed to him on this channel. I just now did it. Don't tell Riff that. He's probably watching this too. I don't know if he is or isn't, but oops, sorry, dude. But these are some of the conditions for that challenge. And it is an aggregate, I guess, of $10 million, up to $10 million from several anti-flat earthers. But it's a little bit different than most challenges, okay? And by the way, when it's worth $10 million, hey, you know what? I'd like to see a flat earther try. But again, the stipulations are pretty clear. I'm reading them right now. So the stipulations are this. We level the playing field, he says. And why is this? Oh, I'm getting OCD today. I don't like this, but that's okay. He says, we are leveling the playing field. Rather than me trying to convince you, which of course will never happen, and I agree with him on that. Flat earthers are not going to be convinced. I've seen it happen twice in 6 years of doing flat earth stuff. I've had my YouTube channel for 8 years, been active about 6 of that. And at the very beginning, we did some, hang on, I'm reading the live chat here. What's wrong with the title? John, did I mess up with the title? Our flat earth debate's dead. I like the title. What's that? With response to the title. Okay, yeah, I hope so too. But all right, so he says, rather than me trying to convince you, which of course never happened, we each try to convince a neutral third party. Now again, there's 2 people I've seen convinced. Sanji convinced, and a guy way long ago before you guys even came on board. There was a guy named what was his name? Jamal Williams, I think it was his name, if I remember correctly. But he gave up flat Earth. He's still young with creationists though. The second thing would be the third party is professional arbitrator. For example, somebody from the National Academic of Distinguished Neutrals. Okay. We engage a lawyer to draft the rules of the challenge. Okay, so far so good. I love this. This is my favorite stipulation. We each put up an agreed amount of money, and it grows in escrow. Now, this is very important that it goes into an escrow account, and they both have to put up the amount of money, right? Now, we know Roof has this amount of money. We know he's worth tens of millions of dollars. If he wants to offer, let's say he offers, $100,000 with a bunch of other people that are offering $100,000, it goes in escrow. That's real money to be had there. So flat earthers now have to, as Roof puts it, put up or shut up, putting real money into the discussion there. If they really want to think that the earth is flat, okay, but if they want to debate about it, why don't you put some high stakes on it? Because, at this point, it's just getting boring and repetitious. This I would watch. If this was to come to fruition and this was to happen where they would draft up a contract with real money involved up to $10 million and it was an escrow, we all would watch that. Absolutely. And so I think that's a whole different thing than just having a debate. So when it comes to flat earth debates, are they dead? Yeah, but something like this would be interesting because this is not really a debate. It is a debate, but it's trying to convince a neutral group of arbitrators, right? That I find something to be very interesting. So they also say we present our top 3 arguments for the shape of the earth and have a chance to rebut the opposing arguments. Now, I like the stipulation as well. And the reason I like the stipulation is that we have arguments for round earth, obviously. Aristophanes, we can go back to that. We can go back to... everybody. I get that. We could go to measurements and triangulation and geometry and all kinds of different subjects. So there are many arguments for the shape of the earth. But they have to put up an argument for their shape of the earth, which is flat. Now, I got to tell you, in all the years I've done flat earth discussions, I don't think I've ever seen them try. I think the closest I've ever seen them try was the Swiss cheese model earth. Do you guys remember that? That's when you have a disk and the sun goes around and up and down and through the earth and comes back around and it goes up and down and basically makes the earth look like Swiss cheese. But it was at least a model that we could at least have a discussion with. It wouldn't work for many of the reasons, but the Swiss cheese model earth, when you asked him too, how does the sun go through the earth? Oh, well, there's like magical holes that, do it. Or there was one model very similar called the Waka Waka model. And the Waka Waka model was the sun would go off over here and then it would reappear over here. So it was like Pac-Man. So it's called the Pac-Man or Waka Waka model. Waka 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 Waka. Oh, there's the sun again. So if you convince a group of neutral arbiters that that's the shape of the earth, that would be very interesting. I think I would actually enjoy watching that. Let's see here. So another one was the arbitrator will make a determination, winner take all. Now, I think it should be more of a panel of arbitrators than one, but it's not my challenge. But I think that's something that's worthwhile to look into. Okay, so going back to the debate that was on tonight on Modern Day Debates channel with Tom Jump, who was woefully unprepared, and he even admits I didn't prepare for this. I have never seen T Jump prepare for any debate, not one. He just doesn't prepare. And Wotan is basically just a parrot. He's a parrot of Russian vids, says the same thing over and over and over again. He has for the 5 years. Hasn't changed a damn thing. I just get bored listening to it. I really can't stand them any longer. I don't know why I even listen to that one, to be honest with you. I think the only reason I did is because anybody who goes against Chi Jump, I'm probably going to be rooting for them. But in this particular case, I couldn't root for either one, and it was a draw. All right? So, but if Wotan wants to put up money for this challenge, there you go. Okay, so the couple of notes that I made during that discussion, the big argument that Wotan and other ones have is the whole water sticking on ball thing, right? Now, I'm not going to get into the physics. I'm not going to get into science. I'm not going to do any of that discussion because, well, we've been there, done that. But I noticed that T-Jump didn't answer that. He didn't understand what the question was asking. And by the way, I don't think the question is worded correctly because water doesn't stick on the ball. It's not sticking. It's not an adherence, right? It's not because of bonding. There is molecular bonding in the water. There's hydrogen bonds in the water, right? But the reason why it's sticking to the earth is gravity. Now, of course, Wotan doesn't understand gravity, right? So he wants to somehow argue that there's no experiment that we can devise to make a ball that big of the earth and see if water stays on it, right? It's because it's an observational science. When you're dealing with things of that nature, that you cannot stick the earth into a laboratory or to a jar, you're no longer in the realm of experimental science. You're in the realm of observational science. When we look at a star, that's observational, right? Because we're observing something. We can do experiments with some of the things that come from the star, like light and heat. But the act itself of the star, that's all observational because we cannot take that star, put it into a lab, and experiment on that object. That's why we have observational science as compared to experimental science. So I don't think that T-Jump really understood what Wotan was asking, and Wotan, of course, is just using the same old debunk questions and statements over and over again. This is what I'm saying. Why bother having these discussions any longer? Unless you come up with something new, I don't see going back to a flat earth on non sequitur. And one of the reasons I'm having this Unleashed is to ask you guys, what do you guys think? I know that it was overplayed on the non sequitur show. I know that Kyle loved to do the flat earth after flat earth after earth. And I was like, look, I'm bored with this. I'll do them once a week, but you're doing them all the freaking time. Okay. Now, I'm not, yeah, by the way, if we ever do a flat earth, Smitty, it won't be off the bat. It'll be way down the line. I'm telling you right here now. But I can't say never. But I really want to know what the advantage of to having a flat earth discussion. Now, we will have Rick Delano back on. They've already agreed to that. So Rick Delano will be back on. He's a geocentrist, but he's not a flat earther. Okay? Not much of a difference, I know. But he believes that he believes just like Wotan that the earth is stationary and immovable, and that, I don't know, space doesn't exist, I guess. Well, I mean, they do believe space exists, but I don't get his argument about the whole being a container and a vacuum. And we've many times explained to him, and this is why I don't like Wotan, because he doesn't learn anything. He doesn't want to. He's running a shtick, that you don't need a container to have pressure. If you go down to the bottom of the Marianas Trench, was it 13 miles deep or something like that? How much pressure is down there? That's not a container. It's in a bowl. As you go deeper, you have more volume of water above you, higher pressure. It doesn't need a container. So atmosphere is the same way, right? It's just you're down at the bottom on ground level. You're going to have 14.7 psi at sea level because you have a column of air above you. It's just pressure. It has nothing to do with the container. It's the weight of the air, the column of the weight of the air. Steve, I meant we can't yet put stars in laboratory experimental. Yeah, well, that'd be a big laboratory, Smitty. Big laboratory. Yeah, and then he gets into that, and then they both said something that was really weird to me. They're like, T-Jump was talking about anti-gravity in space, where you can do experiments in anti-gravity. Lack of gravity is not anti-gravity, T-Jump. They're not the same thing. Lack of gravity just means that you're not having mass or affecting that region of space-time. You're not having a gravitational well. So lack of gravity is not anti-gravity. There are two types of anti-gravity that's basically when people talk about anti-gravity. One is what I refer to as real anti-gravity, and the other one's not. Fake anti-gravity would basically be because you're putting some other force there, right? If I have a hover machine, that's anti-gravity in that it's pushing against the force of gravity. Okay, so that would be a very, very broad way of looking at anti-gravity, but we use the term that way. Anti-gravity is more of the negation of the curvature space-time. So a real anti-gravity would be something that actually is a force that's acting opposite of what mass is doing to space-time. Anti-gravity wouldn't be I don't think so, Smitty. The gravitational wave has obviously a wave, but that's actually a wave of the gravitational force, right? So that's not anti-gravity. It's not pushing. It's not having a repulsive force. Now there is a repulsive force of anti-gravity, if I remember correctly, when dealing with tensor equations. When you're dealing with was it Gould's null-free lunch for the no boundary proposal for Hawking, there is some negative gravity going on there, but it's mathematical. But as far as making an anti-gravitational, and by the way, talk to Dr. Kroon on that. I'm probably butchering that. So if you're an astrophysicist or theoretical physicist, then dark energy actually accelerates the universe, right? So dark energy would be pulling on the universe to make it go faster to increase Hubble's constant. But anti-gravity, if we could actually develop anti-gravity, then something like my cup here, which is green screen, but ooh, that is cool. But I have a cup in front of me. And so if I just could drop this, which I'm not going to do because it has water in it, but it had an opposite push to the earth and it just stood, stayed there, assuming it could, because we are also rotating around the sun. The sun's going around, whatever it's going around, and then it's going around we're going off to Virgo and whatever. We're moving pretty fast through the universe. because the Milky Way is spinning. So there's all these different vectors that are going on. But if I could somehow isolate the matrix, like you call it, because it actually is a matrix, right? Space-time would be a matrix of 3 dimensions plus 1 time. And I can isolate those space-time coordinates, and I can just make this repulsed from gravity. That would be pretty cool. That's what I mean by anti-gravity. So when they say, when Teachup was talking about, doing anti-gravity in space, that's not anti-gravity, And then they were talking about presupposing the Earth is round. This is the one I'll give to T-Jump. T-Jump doesn't presuppose the Earth is round. T-Jump concludes the Earth is round. We don't make a presupposition the Earth is round. We make a presupposition that Earth is external to the mind. There's an object in reality that has ontology that we are observing. That's a presupposition, yes. So in that way, T-Jump would be wrong that we don't have any presuppositions. But I'm going to give a principle of charity, which I don't normally do, but I will give him on this. He is not presupposing the Earth is round. He is concluding the Earth is round. You guys see the difference? You have to have certain presuppositions, but you don't presuppose the Earth is round. We can conclude by observation and experimentation. Wotan, for some reason, thinks all science is experimental. I don't know where he gets that idea from. It's just fundamentally wrong. We have observational science. Then he talks about fake photos. I don't know what the hell he's going with the ELA on that. I would have to look at the actual photo that he's talking from, but I didn't. An ELA, to really determine that it's fake, you'll actually see different color things on it. It's not just noise, like he showed. If an object is actually fake and it has a CGI that's been put on there or changed or modified, you'll see a very distinct, different type of pattern. Usually color changes and some other things. And you can go look up ELA and you can see what it would be. But no, all NASA photos have not been shown to be fake through ELA. That's just stupid. Wotan's just wrong. I've done it myself on photos that, yeah, this is legit. This is from the Apollo mission, right? Then he goes in the same old outdated space station argument, right? The incredulity argument, because he argues from incredulity, basically saying that, hey, you know what? ISS, that's big and it's complicated. How to get up there? I don't know. Therefore, it can't exist. That is the definitive argument from incredulity. But you know what? Tom Jump, who's a philosopher, didn't call him out on that. And he's not a philosopher, but he thinks he is. How in a debate, if your opponent has a very clear argument from incredulity, you don't point it out to him? Hey, Converse. Hey, you need to get a wrench. Let me get you a wrench there. And John, Justin, how come you never had a wrench over here? I just noticed that, dude. Yeah, that's weird. Sorry about that, man. All right, we got a wrench. All right. So, I didn't get that. I didn't understand how he let him get away with that. And by the way, the whole argument for the ISS has been totally destroyed more times than anything on the Flat Earth discussions. We have done it in real time. We had a debate where I was on the panel, and during it, somebody had showed us a picture they had taken from their own camera, a flat earther, and they're like, I took this from my camera. Here it is. Now, how is that the ISS? And by making it larger and rotating it, it showed the ISS. It was up there. And he kind of screwed himself, right? Because even though it looked really small and, he's like, okay, something's up there, but it's not really high. The people in the knew what they were doing were able to take that image, enhance it, and then show the orientation as it would appear towards, us from that vantage point. And it was the same orientation as the picture. Thus, confirmation. And the other thing also, Reds has done ISS transits, right? I mean, he has an ISS transit with over 1 million views, and he did it with Astronomy Live on one of them. And just about a mile away from each other or so, they can show the ISS crossing the moon and show that at a mile away, you still have a parallax. You still have the ISS crossing the moon here at one location, and then a mile or so away, you have it crossing over here. Because you're looking at it from a different angle because the ISS is not that high. I mean, it's high, but still, you can triangulate it. And by the way, they actually did the math. So when T-Jump's saying he has evidence, he didn't produce any of that evidence. Res Rhetoric produces what's actual evidence because he's done the experiments and he produces the math. That's evidence. T-Jump has the same incredulity. He doesn't produce any evidence. He just says you're wrong because you're wrong. That's not an argument, T-Jump. Let's see here. Yeah, Silas says, I hope I pronounced this. Silas says, Steve, I drove out west once and I came to where I could see the tops of the Rocky Mountains. And as I got closer, I could see more and more of the mountains. Does that prove the curvature of the earth? Absolutely. Yes. You can look on a round sphere, and being in the Navy, anybody's been on boats, you'll see a ship. It literally does go over the horizon. You'll see it disappear. Right, bottom first. The last thing you see is the crow's nest, or the most of the ships that I dealt with were antennas. But that's why the crow's nest is set high, so it can see over that curve. So you get a further view for enemy ships. Pirates knew this, so pirates are smarter than Votan, right? So the ISS has been completely obliterated. How many more times can I have to listen to the ISS? It's gotten to the point where it's like listening to Jesus' historicity versus mythicism, and listening about Tacitus and Josephus. I don't care. John Buck, Steve, great community. The holographic principle proves that the Earth is 2D. Yay! I accept the holographic principle, and no, it doesn't prove it's 2D. But yeah, I know Shane. The holographic principle is something we're going to be talking about. I find it fascinating. I do very much accept the holographic principle. We are informationally a hologram, and we seem to resolve the firewall paradox. And that basically, if you want to get into that real quick, is information. There seems to be a fundamental law of science, of physics, that information cannot be created nor destroyed. It would be considered to be like who was it? From Stanford. What is his name? He wrote the Cosmic Landscape. Leonard Susskind, Dr. Susskind. He calls it the -1 law of physics. Because there's I don't know if you guys know this, but there's 4 laws of thermodynamics, right? There's actually the 0th law of thermodynamics. So there's the first law of thermodynamics, second law, and then the 3rd law. But the 0th law of thermodynamics does exist, and it's really simple. It's just basically that if a thermal system A is in thermal equilibrium with system B, and system B is in thermal equilibrium with system C, then A has to be in thermal equilibrium with C. This is a transitivity type thing. So that's called the 0th law. But he says there's even one more fundamental than that, which is information is never destroyed. And if that's the case, then what happens when something goes in a black hole? What happens to the information? One theory actually says that information would be destroyed. There would be basically somebody would just pass through. You wouldn't be able to feel anything. You wouldn't change anything. If the black hole is large enough, we don't have to have spaghettification. But if that's the case, then information wouldn't be conserved. And the other other theory says, well, no. What will happen is that as you go into the black hole, you'll be radiated out with the Hawking radiation, and all your information is going to go to this chaotic state and just randomized and obliterated. Which, if that happens, is going to generate heat. If it generates heat, it's going to be so hot near the event horizon, you're going to be vaporized, right? So the same theories say that information, if it's not destroyed, you should be vaporized by a black hole. But on the other hand, you should be able to pass right through the event horizon like nothing happens. So what actually happens if you pass through the event horizon black hole? Do you get vaporized, or do you pass through and nothing ever happens? Again, assuming a very super gigantic black hole, so you don't have spaghettification. What do you guys think happens? This was a very big question between Stephen Hawking and other physicists. Leonard Susskind was part of that. And it took years to resolve. And by the way, Hawking was wrong on it. He did get it wrong. But but who cares? He got so much else right. He just happened to get this one. He conceded the bet. This was years ago. And also, who also was involved in this, if I'm not mistaken, was our friend Leonard Kurt Knoll. Leonard Kurt Knoll actually had a little bit to do with this, if I'm not mistaken, maybe. But at least he was around at that time because he knew Hawking. So what do you think actually happens? And we're going to get into that topic probably next week with, hopefully, Dr. Kern didn't want to do it, but I'll find somebody who did. But what do you think actually happens? And then I'll get into the holographic theory. So I want to go on with this real quick, then we'll get back to the holographic stuff. Micrometer, what did I write down from that? I don't know what that was my notes, and I don't remember what it was about. Presupposing gravity. Yeah, he kept on trying to say that T-Jump was presupposing gravity. No, I don't have to presuppose gravity. Guess what? I drop something, boom, it falls down. That's gravity. And by the way, that's my first check from Reasons to Believe. Ooh, look at that. That's a real check. Look at that from Reasons to Believe. I am now a paid shill from Theist. From right? Yes, that was a whole $10. Yes, I am rich. I'm gonna retire. Okay, so yeah, I was just presupposing gravity, and then I would explain experimental versus observational. So, anyways, let's get back to the more interesting thing, the spaghettification and the holographic principle. Okay, spaghettification is basically when you have a strong field, okay, and you are at one point of the field as opposed to the other point of the field, like your legs are over here and your head's over here. There's such a gradient between point A and point B of that field that the gravity at this point on your feet is exceptionally larger than that at your head. Okay, same thing with a magnetic field. Okay, we all know the inverse square law. The further you go away from a field, it diminishes exponentially proportional to the distance. But what happens when you have a gravitational field that's so strong that the gradient is such that you have so much gravity pulling at your feet, you have less gravity at your head? This is going to cause you to elongate. And it's going to stretch you in a noodle like a spaghetti. That's called spaghettification. Until you start breaking in half. Everything gets broken down. So you have one, then you have two halves, and you have two quarters, and you have two eighths and sixteenths, and you just get atomized. And then those atoms will eventually, become... they'll become Hawking radiation at some point. You get, according to the firewall paradox. But so, what do you guys think though? What happens when you fall in and let's say you don't have the spaghettification? Let me try to relate it this way. In your computer, you have memory, right? And as memory gets written over, right, as you change the bits of the memory, every time you do that, a little bit of heat's created. Okay, this is entropy, by the way. Entropy is the unusable heat of the universe. It is the unusable energy of the universe. It is defined actually to be related to the amount of unusable energy and heat that's in the system. So every time you rewrite your information, heat is generated that's unusable. Okay, so information to be conserved, to be changed, must increase the entire entropic state of the universe. By doing so, this is what's leading to what's called heat death, right? People say, what's heat death? Well, heat death is the state of disorganization and high entropy that is resulted from heat. And then that'll eventually decay too. But things become very hot because of the informational change, but then eventually that level goes away. So you end up with this very chaotic state. So the Big Bang would have been a low entropic state. And as the Big Bang expanded, the low entropic state moved to a higher state of entropy. So the second law of thermodynamics is that entropy always goes up for any system. And there's only one state of one true isolated system, which is the universe, that it must always go up for any thermodynamic process. So if you have something going into that event horizon, right, information is going to be encoded. This is where the holographic principle comes in. The holographic principle says the information that's inside the black hole is encoded on a two-dimensional membrane of the black hole, which is the event horizon. Okay, so in that event horizon, highly encoded and highly chaotic, is everything that's ever fallen into that black hole. The information's still there. The information is on the event horizon, which means it's proportional to the area of the sphere of the black hole, not the volume, but the sphere, the area, which is why when I keep telling people for years, if I want to know all the different particles in my room, I want to know all the directions they're going. I want to know everything about them, the position and momentum of them. All that information is encoded on the surface area of my room. So the surface area of the room is the maximum amount of information that is needed to describe the state of the system internal to the room. Same with the black hole. The surface area, that two-dimensional membrane, is what's needed to encapsulate all the information and capture it of all the stuff falling into the black hole. The holographic principle takes that principle and puts it one step higher to a three-dimension. And it says all the information of the universe is encoded on the observable event horizon of us. So on the event horizon, that's encoded everything there is to know about the information in the universe. That is essentially the holographic principle. So what do you guys think, though? When you fall into a black hole, because information's changing, right? Because you're falling into a black hole. The black hole is getting new information. It's getting what you are, your essence, right? So that has to generate heat, and it's going to be so hot in the event horizon black hole, you should vaporize before you even fall in. So which one of them is happening? This was again called the fire-or paradox. Very highly controversial thing because people couldn't wrap their head around. Well, the theory says one of these has to happen. So which one is it? What do you guys think was the result? And now while you guys answer that question, I will look through the live chat here. I haven't been ignoring you guys. This was a subject I like. I understood supermassive black holes to be larger and stronger than non-supermassive. Yeah, supermassive black holes, I don't know what the threshold is, but if it's one solar mass, that's not a supermassive black hole. If it has a million supermasses, then that's a different story. There's the biggest known black hole, if I remember, is quite substantially larger than the solar system. If the solar system's here, the black hole would be over here. Okay, that's a lot of mass. I mean, think about it. If you have again, check everything that I'm saying with an actual astrophysicist, but if you have a proton, that's a black hole, which is I believe, was it 10 to the negative 31 or something millimeters, or I'm pulling that out, but I think it's like 10 to the negative 31 millimeters. But if I have a black hole the size of a proton, there's still enough energy in that black hole to wipe out a small city. Okay, that's a lot of energy in something even that small. So can you imagine how much energy is in something the size? If the solar system's this big and you have a black hole that big, how much energy in there? That's what actually determines much of the shape of a galaxy. Galaxies are affected by this. We're affected by black holes that big. We have when they collide to each other, we can feel the gravitational force that actually causes a ripple in the Earth. That's how powerful they are, and they're billions of light years away, some of them. Hilo says, the heat death is where everything in the universe is a perfect state of entropy, so nothing can change anymore, is uniformly mixed. Yeah, it's homogenized. It's a perfect state of high entropy, though, right? It's extremely high entropy, but there's really there's nothing to be changed. Again, there's a weird thing about that, because there's something called a big rip, if you're familiar with it, where if that's what the point you would get, the universe would actually like tear itself and rip apart and maybe like start anew or something. But all right, so what do you guys say? I didn't see any answers here. Do you think that a person is going to burn up because of the like I said, information has to be conserved? Hawking, he actually, if I remember correctly, he actually argued information wasn't conserved. But he argued that you would, I think he was the one arguing you pass right through. But I'll just tell you, the answer is both happens. Yeah, both of them actually. You actually get vaporized and you pass right home. You pass through safely. Welcome to quantum mechanics. That's something where when we get into the subject on my main channel, I will have an astrophysicist come on and talk about that, because that's really hard to wrap your head around when you're saying, wait a minute, if I see Smitty fall in a black hole, which is okay with me because he disagrees with me a lot. He's allowed to fall in a black hole, and I'll just wave to him. I should just be able to see him like disappear as he goes into the infrared spectrum, right? Because as he goes to the black hole, his wavelength will get longer and longer, and I should just see him like become toward the infrared spectrum and eventually just kind of fade away. I never actually see him fall in the black hole. But at the same token, I should see him just like burn up because of the heat, because it's trillions of degrees above the black hole, trillions of degrees. It's very hot. And so, again, assuming not spaghettification and putting aside the photon sphere, that's going to kill you anyways. Photon sphere is going to kill you if there's any accretion disk. But if I should look at him, but the funniest thing is the mere observation of me looking at him, the mere observation of light hitting him and me observing it is enough to cause him to be destroyed. But according to him, he doesn't know he's destroyed. He isn't actually destroyed. He's actually passed through. So I see it one event as he's being destroyed. He doesn't see it that way. He's not destroyed. He passes through and he's just fine, going, hey, I made it, Steve. But the problem is he can never tell me that he made it. He's forever out of communication with me. ever out of communication with me. So there's no violation to be had. Nature doesn't seem to care if it's violated as long as you can't tell somebody about it. Right? There's a principle in physics, like virtual particles, that says matter and energy can either be created or destroyed unless it's done so fast that nobody notices. Okay? Because that's the whole point of virtual particles. They could be created real particles can be created, and not just virtual particles can be created too. But if they're destroyed so quickly, as long as we don't notice, nobody cares. As long as there's no violation. Same thing with that. As long as Smitty cannot tell me he's okay, there's no violation to be had. And the main reason why he can never tell me why he can, no matter what happens, he's done. He's dead. He will die at some point. But he won't be able to tell me what happened to him, that he's okay. And it's not because he can't travel the speed of light, right? A lot of people have a misconception. They say, well, the reason why you can't, once you go through the event horizon black hole and you can't get out of it, is because you can't not travel faster than the speed of light, which is true. You cannot travel from the speed of light. But even if you did travel faster at the speed of light, or faster than the speed of light, you still would not be able to exit that black hole. Does anybody know why? And while you check that, I'm going to check a message real quick. No. Don't care about you. Don't care about you. Don't care about you. Love you. No, I don't know. I got just 2 messages, but I've already talked to them. So let me ask you. So why if I fell into a black hole and I was just wanting to get out of it and I'm traveling faster than the speed of light, what would happen? Just Britt says, thank you, you're a great teacher. Thank you, I appreciate that. This is just a hobby of mine. I happen to like this particular topic. I wanted to be in astrophysics when I was growing up. But like I tell people, I learned that the math is really hard. But black hole theory is one of my favorite subjects of all time. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I'm not trying to put it as some kind of expertise that I'm not. It's just a subject I enjoy talking about. Yes, Outdone remembers. Because I've talked about it before, because every direction you go towards the center. Yes, these are called world lines. The reason why, if you were to go at the speed of light, you would actually die faster. Because every direction you go, once you go past the event horizon, you're traveling to the center. Every point travels to the center. Any direction you go goes towards the center. So going faster than the speed of light, even if you could, you're just going to get to the center faster, the singularity, what it would be. So, yeah. It doesn't really matter whether you can go faster than the speed of light. It is true that the escape velocity of a black hole would be the speed of light, but it doesn't matter even if you could hit the escape velocity because all world lines go toward the center. And if you ever take geometry and you start looking at space-time, you actually see how this actually will occur. You can actually see let me put it this way. If you have a flat plane, right? A flat plane in non-Euclidean space will curve, but in Euclidean space, the parallel lines are parallel. So if I have a flat paper in Euclidean space, then 2 parallel lines are parallel. They'll never, ever intersect. But in non-Euclidean space, it bends. Ever so slightly, but it bends. So parallel lines do eventually converge at some point. If you have a black hole where the curvature is so great, all parallel lines will converge at the center. Everything converges there. There's no. It's like taking It's basically taking a piece of paper and curving it to a cylinder, and you're just walking around the cylinder. If you're just stuck on that cylinder, any direction you go, you're still going around the cylinder. You're not getting anywhere. Same thing to a third dimension. You're taking all these lines that are going to be normally like parallel, like I'm going out this way and I'm going out that way, but you're bending them back such that I go this way, I'm actually curving this way. I go that way, I'm curving that way. I go this way, I'm curving this way. Every curve is going back to the center. So no matter what direction I pick, if you even can assign a directionality, I'm headed to the center. That's why you can't escape a black hole. Once you go in that event horizon, you're done. That's why Smitty can never tell me he's okay. So yeah, he's okay, but I observe him burning up. So, and yeah, and you just get re-release of Hawking radiation. Hawking radiation is greater for smaller black holes. Yes, because your surface area is smaller, right? So if your surface area is smaller, you're going to have more of a rapid boiling off of these virtual particles. Because what happens is a virtual particle is created at the border of the event horizon. One part of those particle will go into the event horizon, right? It's forever gone. But by doing so, the other one becomes real and goes away from the black hole. That particle that's going away from the black hole we can actually detect as Hawking radiation. So virtual particles which do not exist, as long as they're created and destroyed so quickly we don't know they're created in twos and pairs, but they're at that border, they're at that actual border of the event horizon where one path goes into the black hole, the other one goes away from the black hole, and the other one going away from that black hole becomes a real particle. Now, I don't fully understand, and I don't even tend to understand why it has to become a real particle. I don't remember. Don't ask me. I just don't remember. But it does become real. So it's a real phenomenon that comes out of that black hole. And what happens is when you impart realness to this particle and it leaves the black hole, it diminishes the energy of the black hole, right? You have escaping energy. Well, what happens when you have losing energy? You lose mass because E equals mc squared, right? So because energy and mass are directly related to each other, if the black hole is losing Hawking radiation, it's losing energy, it's losing mass. If you have something very small and your surface area is such that you have all these particles going our way at once, it's going to blow up pretty quick. I mean, a small little black hole is going to explode, actually. It's going to explode in Hawking radiation. And when it does that, it's taking all that mass and converting it to energy because it's boiling away so fast. So now my question on that, though, which I wanted to ask Dr. Kroom, but he doesn't want to do this particular topic. If all the information is encoded on the two-dimensional membrane of the event horizon of the black hole, and you have a black hole that has been evaporated, because that's what they call it, evaporation, then where does the information become? I guess it would have to be stored then on the observable event horizon. So then the observable event horizon would then have to encapsulate all the information that was in the black hole as well, would it not? That's where I'm like thinking, how does that work? How does that work? So I have a sphere. We're going to call that the black hole. So anything in that sphere, anything that's fallen in there, any information that's fallen there about Steve, or I'm going to use Smitty because you know what? Fuck him. So Smitty, you fall in the black hole. Your information is coded on the event horizon of that black hole. Okay, that's established. That's black hole theory, holographic principle. Now, if after trillions of years, a black hole will eventually evaporate, right? The bigger the black hole, the more times it takes, but small. And then we're talking the supermassive black holes. We're talking about 10 to the thousandth power. It's a ridiculous amount of time. But for a small black hole, it's actually pretty quick. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, a micro black hole the size of a proton will last nanoseconds and explode like an atomic bomb. But if you had something very, very small that you fell into, and you're encoded on the event horizon, and then it becomes evaporated, does your information now become encoded on the observable event horizon? I would imagine it would have to be, but if you guys know an answer to that, please let me know. Why is it termed holographic? That's a good question, Maki. The reason why it's called holographic, I don't particularly have one. I don't have a credit card with a holograph on it. But if I have a holographic film, okay, like for example, imagine this was a holographic film. Okay, the holographic film, if I look at it, it's going to look irrecognizable to me. I can't tell if I look at a film. I can't tell what that object's going to be because the information is coded on here is so disorganized. Okay, it's going to look foreign to me. There's no way I can just look at that and tell you what the object is unless I know how to get the information out of it. So if this was a photographic film, Maki, and I shine a light through it, right? What happens when you shine a light through a holographic film? It produces a three-dimensional object. So if I had my film such like this, like a cylinder, right? And I shone a light through it and I produce a three-dimensional object in the center there, I could actually walk around it and I could say, oh, look, here's a three-dimensional object in there. Because that three-dimensional object's information is encoded of how to make that on the two-dimensional holographic film. But just by looking at the holographic film, all I'm going to see is, weird colors and dots and this and that. It doesn't make any sense to me because this is at a very low entropic state, or excuse me, high entropic state, very high entropic state. And it doesn't become something recognizable until I shine a light through it. So that's why the information on a black hole is so disorganized because it's like the holographic film. Unless I know how to read it, it doesn't tell me anything. And you can't shine light through a black hole, so I don't know how you would read it. But anyways, Kawasa, 10,001. I seem to recall hearing that the universe after heat death is the only earliest phase of the universe. And it will spend eons and eons of nothingness until it dies. Well, yeah, and that's what it would be to... Why is my light going out? I got a weird thing here on my camera. I'm fading away, guys. Oh, my God. Holographic. I'm fading. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, I think so, if I remember correctly. The heat death would be the highest amount of entropic state where there's no more change in the universe. Okay, that would be there's just... But at that point, there's no more change because there's nothing in the universe. It's basically a sea of photons. And the photons... I don't know what happens at that point. I mean, it's just at that point theory, because even photons have to be moving, right? Photons cannot be. I mean, you can store photons, but even when you store photons, you're not really storing it. You're just kind of tricking it. You're just kind of you're basically encapsulating in a lattice where you're making the path longer to go through, called the mean free path to go through longer. So you're not actually technically slowing down light. Light travels at 186,000 miles per second. But can you imagine if you had a universe that had nothing in it between particles? Like right now, I believe it's like one cubic centimeter is like one proton, give or take. But there's also other particles obviously created. There's virtual particles being created all the time. But can you imagine if you had a universe where nothing is created, right? No more Higgs field, no more particles, no more gravity, no more anything. There's no more change. Now, this actually goes back to a philosophy, believe it or not. This is called the Platonic time versus reductionism with respect to time. And reductionism with respect to time is basically saying, hey, look, time is just us looking at the difference between two states of the universe. If you have a displacement between two objects, where two objects are here, and then they move over here, time has passed for that to do that. Everybody would agree with that. But what happens if those objects never move, never change? They're exactly the same. The whole universe never changes. Let's say it was a constant state of frozen. Everything in the universe was frozen. Everything. Nothing changed at all. Would there be a passing of time? The reductionist says no. The Platonist says yes. The Platonist would say there is still time in that container, but it's passing, but nobody's noticing it because there's no noticeability of it. At that point, what it would mean to be time, I don't know. And by the way, there is a thought experiment to tell the difference for there's Platonic or reductionist. It's really complicated. I don't understand the experiment, but it does exist. What would happen to be if time did freeze, how it would be noticed to an outside observer. In one case, it would be noticed different if it was Platonic versus reductionist, but that gets into real complicated stuff. Anyways, okay, well, wow, that went deviated from the flat Earth debate. So we will talk about the holographic principle with an actual physicist as soon as we can, I promise. A and B theory of time are similar, Buck, but A theory, okay, these are tense to non-tense theories, right? So one is a tense theory where you actually have indexicality there. The other one's not a tense theory. In B theory of time, everything's concurrent. You don't say past, present, future because they're meaningless terms. There's no index of Thursday at 4:00 as in A theory of time. So most theorists will subscribe to the B theory of time. There's also there's also things like presentism. There's expanding time. Was it expanding time cube? Is that what it's called? Expanding. It's not presentism. Expanding block theory. That's what it is. Expanding block theory. But it's very similar. It's just one's tense, what's not tense. Yeah, I subscribe to both B theory of time. I think that it makes more sense to talk about time non-indexical and without tense, right? So future to me is somebody else's past, and all these things exist coextensively. And so in physics, at least, it's best to understand that way. In philosophy, a lot of people do subscribe to presentism. This is the presence. And then anything in the past doesn't exist. There's something called present. What is it when you actually believe the past still exists? I don't remember. But somebody actually believes the past still has ontology. Kawasa 5000. Oh, the stuff you said about time is not real and is a metaphysical concept. I never got that. Isn't space-time real? Time is an illusion because if you're a reductionist, then you're noticing time as a change in the universe. So I don't really take time as something that has any concreteness in that aspect of it. Now, there is something called imaginary time. Normally, the displacement between two things can be measured by a mathematical formula. They call the distance formula. If you guys remember the distance formula between 2 points, it's the square root of the 0.1 of plus 0.2. That's the distance formula. There's something very similar to three-dimensional distance formula. So if you have 3 points in space and between 3 points, or an object that has 3 points, so you can say X, Y, and Z, and you have here X, Y, and Z, there are other points. The distance formula would tell you the distance between those 2 points. And there's also a space-time version of that as well. So a space-time displacement between two objects within space and time. By using negative time, which is imaginary time, in that formula, which would be minus it squared, if I remember correctly, then using minus it squared, you can actually go back to t equals 0 of the Big Bang. That's how Hawking did his no boundary proposal. But I think time is more of an illusionary thing. I don't think it has any kind of real ontology. But space-time self-fabric, yeah, we treat it as something that does exist. I think that does actually have some kind of nature to it. But what it means, I could not tell you what it means to be a space-time fabric. It is something that we know exists in some measure because we can see the effects mass has on space-time. Yeah. Hila says, I don't think that we should completely cut them, but one a week can be a bit much. I'd recommend combining a bunch of crazy together into one show and rotate something. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the flat earth stuff. I mean, if Cheshire wants to continue to have flat earth since she's popped it up, we'll have to take it in moderation. I think flat earth debates are dead. I'm just bored of them. I don't think they add anything new. And it's like listening to basically somebody masturbate with a cheese grater with fatty acid as lube. And I'm not really wanting to do that any longer. Let's see here. What would negative time even mean? Negative time just means like in that formula, because if I have the square root of x squared plus b squared, or excuse me, x squared plus y squared plus z squared plus t squared, where t is time, right? Because there's two types of way of looking at space. This one's called the Minkowski space, and the other's called non-Lorentzian. Minkowski space takes space-time as a four-dimensional manifold. A non-Lorentzian model takes it as 3 dimensions in space, 1 dimension in time. You can mathematically treat it either way. But if you take a distance formula to say, okay, x squared plus y squared plus z squared plus t squared of one object, and then I take that same things with different values for a different object, I know the space-time distance between them. And the reason why that comes in handy is because if I have a flat space-time, the light travels the shortest distance between 2 points in space. It's called this geodesic path of the light. So if there's no curvature of space or very low curvature of space, light's going to go pretty straight through it. If it bends, if you have a lot of gravitational field, like an Einstein ring, Einstein cross, black hole, something that produces a measurable, noticeable amount of effect on space-time, light bends when it passes through that field. We've seen this. We know this. But according to the light's not bending. The light is taking the shortest distance between two geodesic points in a curved space-time continuum. So that's what light does. Light will always take the shortest distance between 2 points in a space-time continuum. In order to describe the space-time continuum, you need the distance formula, really 3 points in space, 1 point in time. By changing that time to imaginary time, negative it squared, you're allowed to do certain things with formulas and matrix equations to model black hole theory back to t equals 0. How that actually works in the matrix tensor equation, don't ask me. I would have no freaking idea. I've seen it. I've looked at it. Not going to happen. But I know the concepts because I looked into the no boundary proposal to talk to Lawrence Krauss about it. We can do a poll. I mean, I'm not going to really abide by the poll, but sure. Scylla says, Steve, do a poll. 1 for yes if you want flat Earth debates. 2 if you don't. 3 if you want it sparingly, like really sparingly, and not right off the bat. So 1 if you want to have them, fairly frequent. Excuse me, fairly frequently. 2, you never want them on non sequitur, and 3, very sparingly. And you know what? I'm almost going to apply this to any channel at this point. What do you say, Chesh? Because I got to tell you, man, I'm just so bored of these things. I've never heard anything new out of any of them. How long has it been since I've done a comment hangout where we go over the comments? Those are so fun. I always get sometimes I'm going, really? Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do that one of these days. Go over the comments. Yeah, weird. I'll go over this one real quick because I just got this one. If you don't care, I'm doing it unleashed, so it doesn't really matter. So what do we got here? We got 3, 3, 3. Wow, a lot of 3s. All right. Well, it looks like 3s actually went out. I guess. Shit. All right. Well, I don't have a problem with that, so I'm gonna go with 3 as well. But it is very sparingly, because god damn, did they? You gotta admit, non sequiturs burned the shit out of them, didn't they? I mean, when I left and that's all they did. Yeah, well, hopefully they show up, right, Chesh? Yeah, that's the big thing, by the way. By the way, I already had somebody try to take your spot, Chesh. Like, hey, I'll be your co-host for a sec. I'm like, I already got one, but I'm like, no, it's good, it's cool. I've stopped watching Skeptic and Fight the Flat Earth as much because of the same thing over and over again. Yeah, yeah. I love Team Skeptic and I love Fight the Flat Earth, and I get it. I really do. And they draw in a crowd. And as long as they're drawing in a crowd, I understand it. I'm not about the crowd, though. If I wanted to have that crowd, I would have had flat earth discussions more on my channel. I had one that was very popular with Nathan Thompson a long time ago. It's still talked about. It's one of my more popular videos. But I'm not going to do things just because they're popular. I do things because I enjoy them. Right? I'll tell you later. I'm not going to put it on blast. But I want to go to this comment real quick. This is weird. So I did a Sunday school this morning, right? With about Ricky Gervais' erroneous views on agnosticism, and somebody had comment this. I guess you know what? I guess I can screen share this. What the hell? So 1 second. Let me close all this out. Close that out. Move that over here. Move that over here. Where's my producer when I need it? Okay, so screen capture. Display capture. All right, so... all right, so this person's comment's interesting. And by the way, I cannot see the live chat right now, so hold tight. This guy says, Steve, is there a difference between knowing something and believing something? If so, agnostic and atheist are not mutually exclusive. My response. Agnostic is the position of not believing. P is true and not believing not P, which I said in this video. Did you miss that part? I clearly pointed out repeatedly. They are mutually exclusive attitudes toward the ontological proposition of God existing. So if the ontological question of God existing, P, God exists, the agnostic doesn't have a position on that. And he says, nice way of avoiding the question I've asked. What? I'm really confused here. How did I not answer his question? If you don't think that I did, let me know right now in the live chat here, and I'll probably kick you out because, you can't ever disagree with me because, I'm sensitive like that. Except for Smitty. He I don't know why he gets a pass because he's an asshole. But let's see here. No, but seriously, am I wrong? Did I not answer the question appropriately or definitively? Or I'm just curious. And by the way, go ask him about it if you want. I mean, here I'll put the video description in the link chat or the live chat right now. Yeah, go tell him if I answered it correctly. or properly. He just didn't understand the answer. Probably. Outdone says, "Yeah, I think so. I don't know how that's not an answer." So you guys have at it. Just Brit says, "You're not having chess, Vic. That would be so uncool. Not having it for what?" So it says, "I stopped watching non-sec after you left. It sucked with you." Yeah, most people thought that. But of course, Kyle thought he was non-sec. Whatever. He didn't understand the answer, Gary. Yeah, thank you. I agree with you, Colorado Biker Prepper. That commenter either A, didn't watch the video, or B, didn't understand the topic. And that's what I see a lot, Chesh, too. I get a lot of comments a day. Not as much as I used to. They have gone down quite a bit. I will admit that. But I used to get a lot of comments a day. And I have noticed that people will comment on a video I know that they haven't watched. There's just no possible way that they watched it. And I'm like, it's in the video. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? I still, yeah. Well, Helios says, "I'm not even that interested in the dumpster fires." I am. I like the dumpster fires. But see, the difference between me and how Kyle ran it is that Kyle wanted to kind of foster dumpster fires. He'd be like in the background going, "What do we need to do to make this a dumpster fire?" I'm like, I don't know. Just let it happen organically. I mean, I can understand sometimes, let's make this a little more interesting, but not to the point of like going overboard, I guess, right? I mean, you definitely want to make something interesting. I do understand that. I don't fault him for that, but Colorado Biker Prepper is after discussing atheism and agnostic with you that I modified my position to agnostic, and a lot of people did that. Thank you. Like I said, I don't care what they modify themselves to. They can call themselves whatever they want. I'm just happy that they listened. Team Chesh for best co-host. Well, you know what? I will tell you this, and I think I'll put this out there. On our very first episode of Non Sequitur, I think it might be a true statement to say, and Chesh can weigh in here, if she remembers what we talked about. My co-host for the first episode, for the beginning of Non Sequitur, probably is not going to be Chesh. I'm going to put that as a little teaser out there. Does Chesh remember what we're talking about? If she does, just say you do, Chesh. Don't go to details clearly, but I just want to see if she remembers. So she has a very short memory. Trust me. I'm just kidding. Don't do it. You're the one that suggested it, actually, if you remember correctly what I'm thinking about. Colorado Biker Prepper, interesting means a variety of subjects, not just the one reoccurring on Flipper Dumpster Striers. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. No, I'm not going to have Brett Keane as a co-host, if anybody suggests that. Although if I will say this, if Cheshire ever pisses me off like Kyle does, I am replacing with Brett Keane. Yeah, we'll do that just because. Chester, so you know what? I'm happy if Chess takes lead on stuff. I'm actually okay with that. Let her do it on some of these other shows we do. I'm okay with that. First, matter of fact, tomorrow, Chess, you want to be the main host for the caffeine corner? I am totally fine with that. Like absolutely fine with that. I'll let you run it. I know she can do it because she runs her own things. I mean, she interviews and they're great. But it is a little bit different when you're doing it 2 hours a show, 3 shows a week, 4 shows a week, 5 shows a week. It's a lot of stuff, man. Gary says, "What subjects are you going to tackle once you get the channel back?" I am not going to tell you that, and the reason why I'm not going to tell you that is because we're planning things out, and I just don't want to give anything out. We have subjects that are coming up that have not been talked about in any community that I've seen. I mean, just brand new stuff. We're going to be bringing new stuff to the table, new people to the table. So, we talked about on Drunken Peasants the other night, if things take off, having a non sequitur after dark. So, although we talked to that in the post show, but still, it's we still talked about it. Steve, do you think at t minus 0 space-time matter would all essentially be the same thing? I don't think no, because at t minus there's no such thing as any of that. None of those things even exist. Firmo says, I like to see a debate on determinism versus fatalism. Well, fatalism is a very hard form of determinism. Fatalism would be the position that everything that will occur must occur. It could be no other way, no matter what decisions you do. Even your decisions are fated to be. So fatalism means that everything that's going to happen, it has to happen one way. Boom. I am determinism. I do subscribe to determinism, but soft determinism, which is called compatibilism. But that's only because that's the lesser of the evils out there. I think all positions, when it comes to free will, have issues. So, but I don't believe in fatalism. No, I think that we do have the ability to make some kinds of decisions that changes the outcome of the universe. Yeah, but if there was no humans involved, let's say the Earth got destroyed, right? So there's no intelligent life here, and there's no intelligent life anywhere else. Would the universe then wind down to something that has to be? Because there's nothing to change it at that point. From that point on, nothing can influence the universe. It's going to be very mechanistic at that point. But if I decide to move my hand, I've now affected the entire universe because gravity is infinite. My gravity's here, my gravity's over there. I have affected everything in the universe just by me moving. I would, if you really want to take it to the extreme. But gravity is an infinite force. It's negligible, obviously, but you do influence the entire universe in that regard. But if you don't exist and you're not making any decision to change anything, then would you have fatalism? Because obviously there's no free will if everybody doesn't exist. Free will would exist. So that's an interesting thing to think about, though. Nowza says he thinks he might be a fatalist, but doesn't think it benefits anyone to not believe, to not behave as if we have free will. Well, I don't think we have free will. I think free will is an illusion. But that doesn't mean you have to subscribe to fatalism. Not at all. So I don't subscribe to fatalism. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I like the way Rationality Rules puts it. And I don't know where he got it from, but he describes free will as more of saying we have will, but we don't have free will. And I think I agree with that. I know Matt Dillahunty liked that argument as well. We have will, but we don't have what would be considered to be libertarian free will. And the way you would argue libertarian free will would be this. Given any particular time where you have a decision between X and Y, if you choose X, then you made a decision, you chose X. Okay, fair enough. But the libertarian free will person says, if you rewound the tape and you went backwards from T prime to T, or vice versa, T to T prime, whatever you want to have your metric, but you go from T to T prime where you started, given all things equal, what's called cerebus paribus, or basically all things being equal, all influence is the same. Everything's exactly the same. The free will the free will is an indeterminate position. The free will person would say that person could just as easily choose Y at that point. They're not destined or must choose X. The determinist will say that person will choose X every single time, all things being equal. That's the difference between indeterminacy and determinacy, as the free will argument would be. The free will argument is that position that, hey, look, if I go back with the exact same conditions, I still have enough free will to choose Y. But the determinant says no. Given the exact same conditions, your brain states, everything else could be exactly the same. You're going to make the exact same decision every single time. You don't have free will to do it. But it's the illusion of free will. You think you have the free will, but you don't, because all things being equal, every brain chemical and every neuron and everything exactly the same, quantum mechanically and all, you're going to make the exact same decision. Like I said, the libertarian free will says, no, you can still make the other decision. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's, I think we are biologically hardwired in a lot to make these decisions. Now, a lot of people argue, if I'm not mistaken, and you guys could kind of correct me on this, but I think a lot of people argue libertarian free will because they're substance dualist, right? They believe in matter and soul, right? Some kind of spiritual thing, which would be a form of dualism. And so they would say that even though materialistically everything's the same, there's another force, another thing, the spiritual side, that's the consciousness would be making decisions independent of the body. So you could actually make a different decision, even though mechanistically, materialistically, everything's identical. What do you guys think about that? Would you guys think it's more free will or not free will? Cheshire points out your decision was made before you're conscious of it. Yes, I agree with that, actually. Very much so, actually. I do fall into dostastic and voluntarism. I think that you're recognizing a decision. It's like 400 microseconds, whatever the hell, is a small amount after your brain's already made that decision. So when you move your hand, your brain's already decided to move the hand before you've even made it. So you're unconscious of it. This leads to some weird things, actually. It also leads to the mind-body problem, because when these are theist arguments that I find interesting. It's not because they show God or substance dualism, but they do point out some problems with mechanistic materialism. I think that's a fair thing. If you're a substance monist, okay, and you only believe that there's matter and energy, we'll say physicalism, because I tend to physicalism, not materialism, but whatever. But if you're a physicalist or you'd hold to materialism, then if consciousness is non-material, it's something that doesn't have substance, how does my thought that I want to do something translate into motion? What is the mechanism by which consciousness is converted into form, movement? This is part of the mind-body problem. Sounds too much Kierkegaard. Do I sound like Kierkegaard? Because I don't know if Kierkegaard would argue that way. I haven't read Kierkegaard in a while. He was a weird dude. Can Cheshire come in and show you Puck if Cheshire would like to? Cheshire, hey, can you show something I'm going to show? You could come on. Give me a second here, though. Adding a soul to me adds more to the destiny part. Master plan, but choice. Yeah, I don't believe in any kind of manifest destiny. I believe in serendipity, though. But that's not that that's not that weird. All right, Cheshire, you want to come in? I'll give you the Google Hangout right now. I'll make one for you. Give me a second. She just takes over everything. You see this, man? God. You give her one show and she just takes over everything. I don't get it, man. All right, check your Twitter, Chesh. All right, watch this. We'll see how fast she shows up in here. Ready? Give her the link right now. And let me move this over here, and I'll screen share this for you guys in 1 second. Let's see. So let me go to studio mode so that I don't get the link out there. Settings, studio mode, and then display capture on. There she is. All right, I'll show you in a second here, so don't worry, girl. I'm going to put you in the upper right-hand corner right here. All right. There you go. Yay! What up?
Hi, guys.
Who's my boy?
I was getting ready for bed. What's going on?
Who's my boy? You're my boy.
You guys, oh, hey, what up? It's me, your boy.
She's my boy.
You guys wanted to see Puck? He's right here taking a nap.
He likes to see Puck. Look at the puppy.
Got a ball.
Oh, how old is Puck again?
He's 8 turning 9, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, he's officially your dog, not your family's dog, right?
Yeah, he's my dog, yeah.
Okay. Aw, he a good boy.
Boop. Well, boop his nose. Boop.
Monkey says Steve didn't sound like Kierkegaard. I meant that the fiatist leanings therein seem to be the underlying non-physical force thing. Yeah, fiatism is. You know what's funny is like I really kind of don't have a problem with fiatism. Wait, is that really too? Is that how it looks? Let me lower this down a little bit. Now I should be able to see it better. I don't know why I don't know why that's so weird like that. Let me put it down here. Let me try that on there. Yeah, but fiatist is not a justified position, right? So fiatists would basically just say that they believe God exists, but they understand that they have no real justification to believe God exists, which puts a real damper into Tom Jump's argument. Because if Tom Jump's argument is that atheism is merely someone who states that there's no good reason to believe in God, then a theist would be an atheist, which makes no sense. But whatever. Anyways, how are you?
Oh, good. I was just experimenting with something that I posted on Twitter, and I think I'm gonna offer them. That's what the thing I was gonna shill is.
Oh, okay.
So here, I'll send you the link to it if you want to show it.
Okay. Am
So
I looking at Twitter?
yeah, either that one or I posted another one a second ago. Let me just pull it up.
Am I showing the tweet? Is that what you want me to show?
Yeah, show the picture. There's two pictures there, and then I'm gonna send you another one.
Uh,
Sorry for the tapping. I'm on my laptop because I was. Yeah, so just open the tweet and then look at the two photos. Three photos, I guess.
there's one.
There's. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's actually pretty cool. Actually,
Neat, eh?
neat. That's neato keen actually. And this one, awe. No, you didn't do that one.
No, that's somebody reacting to that one.
Yeah, I only see
So
two. I see two here. There's no three.
yeah, so I sent you another one. It's on a separate tweet. You got
Oh,
it. I
okay.
believe in you.
Okay, one sec.
Well, just scroll down if you're on my page. If you scroll down, it'll be there.
Oh,
Right
that
there.
one. Now this was actually something. So you put the photo in Krita, I would assume, and then you did the artwork over it.
Over top of it,
Over
yeah.
top of it, as a
So
layer. Okay.
so if anybody wants one of these done, if you send me
Let me blow it up real
a
quick.
pic,
There you go.
yeah.
One sec.
Send me a picture of yourself. If you want a character, let me know the details about the character, like whatever the race is or whatever the class is or whatever, anything that would be relevant. Um, or if you just want one that is just yourself, just send me that and I can do those for like $30 a pop if you guys want.
That is really freaking cool, man.
Just don't give me anything like stupidly complicated, like a lizard or something.
That is really cool.
I can still do a lizard. As long as it's not like a big, like a front nose change, I can do that pretty easily.
You
And
do
then
it.
just give me the picture that you want done.
You can do it all.
A little bit. I'm a jack of all trades a little bit.
She an artist.
Did you hear what I sent to Dick Dawson?
Uh, wait.
There's so many memes.
That could be disturbing. What did you send to Dick Dawson? Do I want to know?
I
I
sent
don't
him
judge,
the
by the way.
vocals. I sent him the vocals of me singing "Still Alive," like the whole song.
Oh. You know, like you mean like I'm still alive. That one?
No, the GLaDOS.
Oh, GLaDOS. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the song
The
that I
very
sang
end of the
on
portal.
New Year's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
gotcha.
So I recorded that and sent that to him. So we'll see what he thinks. I might have to like redo some
So
stuff.
who's gonna sing the song I wrote for you?
Probably him.
See, he said he was that, and I said I don't have a problem with that, even though I believe it's a major, but he doesn't have really a high pitch. But I guess he could probably give it a shot. Yeah, I wrote a song for Chesh, by the way, people.
So I guess I'll give you guys. You can find me on Twitter and send me messages there if you want it. Just let me know, and then I'll give you. Let me know that you're interested. I'll put you in the queue, and then I'll send you my PayPal information. You PayPal me, and then I'll send you the thing, and that's how that'll work. So I'll also send you. If you don't have Twitter, you can reach me here.
If that song is popular that I wrote for you, should I make one for Sweet? Because I could probably think of something too.
Yeah, if you want to. It doesn't need to be popular for you to write a song for Sweet, though.
Well, no, I would write Sweet a poem or something. You know,
Aw.
roses are red, violets. I wrote one for the other day. Well, sort of. I was like, roses are red, violets are blue. I can't rhyme. Here's a fucking poem.
Here's a fucking poem. Roses are red, violets are violet, not fucking blue. What's wrong with you? Fucking Jesus.
Yeah, I do the cheesy stuff every so often.
So yeah, contact me if you guys want one. I can do them for cheap. I don't know how long I can offer them for, but for right now I have time to work on them. So currently $30. I'm shilling myself.
She'll throw in a foot picture too.
Yeah, usually what? No, those are more expensive.
The funniest thing I saw was we had a rum and coke night the other night, guys, and she was talking about her feet, and somebody in the comments section actually put the timestamp and said
No, they asked.
they asked
Hey, what's
that, yeah, that's what they asked. You know, what where's the timestamp where Jess shows feet or something, and Trina Porter goes, that what'd she say? What'd she say?
That's ridiculous, you pervert. That's disgusting, you pervert. And then there was like a couple of spaces, like enter spaces, so it was a little bit far down. You had to open to read more, and it says, but same though.
I love that. You pervert. You know, did you like read more? But same
So
question.
funny. Yeah, normally what I
Gosh,
do
it's
when I take
hilarious.
commissions. Normally what I do when I take commissions is that I'll take the commission, I'll talk through whatever the person wants, then I will sketch something out and then get the roughs done. Once the roughs are done, that's usually when I take payment, so that way whoever's getting knows what they're getting. So
Well, there you go.
I like customers to be happy. And that way I want I want the roughs confirmed so I don't put a bunch of work into something and they're like, oh, this isn't really what I wanted. And then
Well,
it's just like, oh,
yeah,
for
that's
fuck's
that's a
sakes.
big thing, right? I mean, you gotta make sure. I mean, like you know what you did for Mikey. I
Mhm.
knew what he wanted because he just kind of described it, and you nailed it. So
Well, I also sent him a rough before I did like colored it in and stuff. I sent like a red, like I did it in red first. I just did a background, then I did like a rough sketch of kind of what he wanted, and I got lucky because I kind of basically got it on the first try, and I didn't have to make very many changes at all. And so I just then did the coloring in, painting, I should say,
so
like
so
coloring book.
back again to the topic real quick.
Mm.
Uh, the flat Earth stuff. So you think that on non sequitur we should have flat Earth every so often, but far and few between, sparingly. If there's somebody that's worth having to have on. By the way, would you agree? I'm not having Wotan on.
No, I don't give a shit. That's fine.
It just does no reason to have Wotan on
I
again.
think I think I wouldn't bar any of the flat earthers outside of like extenuating circumstances for obvious reasons, but
Which would be
I,
what? They're all dumbasses.
well, not because they're dumbass. I wouldn't bar a flat earther for being dumbass because that would just bar all of the flat earthers.
That's my point.
Yeah, so what I
Okay,
would
but
say
fine.
is
Go
like
ahead.
I would say that I think there is a time and place to do flat earth once in a while when
Okay.
something and when there's actually something to offer, but we're not going to do it like every week. That's way too much. And the flat
Yeah,
earthers don't
exactly.
show up.
Yeah, that's my
So if
point.
they might be willing to more show up if we're not just fucking shitting on them every goddamn week. So, like, maybe once every couple of months, if there's a debate that can be set up and non sequitur tends to be a good place to have that kind of a debate, then yeah, sure. Like, the debate on Red's channel was actually really fun to watch. I mean,
That was good. That was good.
I wanted to gouge my fucking eyes out, but I mean, it was still fun.
Yeah, I don't like the whole 10 minutes this, 10 minutes of that, only because how many
Oh,
times I listen to the same thing.
we don't have to
But
ban Russian vids.
I'm not gonna ban Russian
We don't
vids.
have to ban Russian vids. He won't come to non sequitur because I'm there.
Yeah, but I wouldn't ban them anyways.
Not gonna
But
happen.
yeah, like Gary points out, hearing from Hollow Earthers, I thought about it as well. I know there's some Hollow Earthers that would be interesting.
Oh yeah, if we can
Um,
get some people that are like in the same kind of vein as Flat Earth but are different topics, that'd be super interesting. Yeah, and I know like a lot of the guys would be interested in that covering that too because it a lot of the same rules still sort of apply. So it's like it's applied skills,
yeah, as somebody
right? So
points
like
out,
if
I
you
don't
can
want somebody like
debunk.
that wants to yell and scream.
Oh yeah, we don't want
I
that.
just can't stand it.
Yeah, yeah. If we can get somebody who's actually going to have a debate slash discussion, that'd be more interesting. Like, and once in a while, if it devolves, and that's fine. That's kind of
Yeah,
part of the show. So,
sure, I get that. But I mean, the whole thing, I don't know. I know you didn't watch it, but Votan right out of the gate was just obnoxious, just from start to finish, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with that.
Well, I mean, Rad Vlad started off not really too bad, and then it just got worse the longer, like, the more of an idiot he was, the more of an idiot he came across as. And I want to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt and say maybe, because I haven't seen him do any debates before, that maybe he was nervous, so he got shown up, and then he was laughing because he didn't really know what else to do.
Did he ever talk about the laser thing?
No, I
bendy
don't think
laser?
so. Unless they talked about it after we left for Drunken Peasants.
Yeah, I'm wondering because she and I had to go do. I was gonna say she and I had to go do DP, but that would have sounded really wrong. Sorry, Reds. You know, because you're supposed to mod for that, right?
Yeah, I
You were
was supposed to be the
that,
mod
but
for
you were
that. But the
listening.
thing,
Okay.
well, Red's asked me to mod for it, but he didn't tell me what day. He said, I'll tell you what day it is later. And then he told me what day it was on Saturday. But on Saturday, I thought it was Friday. So I was like, yeah, okay, no problem. And then you were messaging me like, can I go on DP with you? And I was just like, wait.
Oh, Lumo just said that they learned about Depilot Man just recently. I'm like, oh, I've got to get Depilot Man back on. That will happen if he wants to come back on. I would like to get Depilot Man. He's genius. I mean, he's got to be seriously. He's like really creative. I'll give him that. He's a smart
Yeah,
guy.
I
mean,
don't
like
mind
really
shit like
inept,
that.
but smart. Does that make sense? He's still like he's not a flat earther. He's a Pringle earther. He thinks the Earth
Oh
is
my
yeah. He
God.
thinks the Earth is wavy like a Pringle.
Okay, I may or may not be a little bit shit. A little bit of a shit. Because I definitely made a tweet at you saying that you've betrayed me and I wouldn't be the host. And there may or may not be people that are picking up on it.
Nice. Just fuck. Just you know what? Give her an inch. And she asked for like 6 in it. You know, just stick it all in.
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
It was. Hey, look.
I'm not sorry.
I like I said, the first episode. You know, I found a new. We're gonna have a different co-host.
I've been betrayed.
But whatever.
Betrayal.
People won't have
Betrayed me.
people. And by the way, it's going to be interesting. But
You guys want to see something funny? I don't know if he'll do it, but he's. We'll see if he'll do
do you
it.
know how many people are going to run with anything she says? I mean, she legit could say fucking anything, and people are going to run with it. And by the way, if she ever wanted to screw me, she really could be like, you know, Steve did this, or Steve did that, and nobody would fucking even doubt her, right? Well, it's Chess, so maybe because she's not a real woman, so they wouldn't believe her.
There's a good number of people who wouldn't believe me because they fucking
Steve
know I'm a little
touched me in a
shit.
nominal place. Yeah, right.
I wouldn't make a joke about something. No, he's not going to do it. He's too sleepy. But I wouldn't do something like that.
Well, if you got pissed off enough, who knows? You know, I'm not. You wouldn't.
Oh,
you
like
wouldn't. You wouldn't.
You,
Okay, but hang on. You wouldn't. But there are women out there that if they got pissed off enough, they would. You know, they would.
oh yeah. No, you're talking like if I was like trying to get back at you and like
Yeah.
ruin your career or
Right.
something. Okay, listen. If anybody wanted to ruin Steve's career, I'm the person you should be calling if you want that to
She knows
happen.
it all. She'll fuck. Yeah, she can. You know what? I don't get it. All my haters. Why are they pissing you off? They should be your best fucking friend.
They should.
Right?
It's true. They should be like bowing at my presence.
I'm telling you, they should be sucking up to you because you know where all the burieds are buried. Literally. No, I'm just kidding. Somebody will be like, oh my God, Stephen Chess, did you hear that they're on the dark web and they're hitmen and now they're just like for hire? And because Chess was on the Great Debate Community for hire and they're talking about stuff burying the bodies. So what is it? Chess hire is a hitman and
Yeah,
by the way, we will
probably.
be talking about that too. The deep web hiring hit people.
I'm the hacker heiress to a Fortune 500 company. I don't
I'm
know.
actually going to check my Twitter right now. Fuck you. I got to see what this. I'm just going to. Did you tag me, by the way?
Yeah, I did.
Did
Of course
you?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mentions.
I'm an asshole.
Is this a joke, or were you supposed to, or be a sarcastic? LOL. I can't tell if this is humor or not. Okay, let's show what she says here, people. Okay, let me move this over here. You bitch. Okay, here you go. Let me blow this up nice and large for everybody here. Mm-hmm. Can you guys? Can any of the outside chats see that?
Oh, Russian Bits hates me. Oh my God. Let me find you that video. Somebody's asking
Okay,
like what
so let
happened.
me transition this. I'm transitioning right now. There, I just transitioned. Cheshire Queen Goblin, the Viper, Steve McRae just betrayed me. Double exclamation point. Apparently, I'm not the new co-host as the first episode of Non Sequitur. What the fuck? Tears. Blocked. Let me see. How do you block? Ah! So I heard it, and I'm 95% devastated for you. Like that one. You say you don't know Steve or following him, yet you look closely. Contradictions in your own comments. Who's this person? I don't know Steve or follow him very closely, but it seems like he has a history of drama and possibly betrayal. Oh God, I'm dying here. I'm dying. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you so much. I don't know Steve. Okay, so you may not be the first subject to have been treated in this manner. If you look closely, you can see someone who's based on that. Someone is based on their track record. I'm dying. Oh my God.
You've never had drama till Chess showed
I
up.
never had any drama. This is why I never had drama till Chess showed up. This is what the bitch does.
Oh, see, look, people are fucking caught. Like,
Oh,
people
God.
who know us and people who know how to think critically are asking either A, asking a question or can tell. Nasuth knows what I'm doing. Betrayal!
I
Betrayal!
don't know, but I read a lot of bad things from people who were once friends with him and worked with him. You know what I mean? Like Bullinator, who's I've known for how many years, who's still works.
Hey, you
with
guys
me.
want to know? You guys want to know the group of people that are getting baited out by something like this? The people that are getting added to my block list.
Okay, by the way, this is Chess actually being a goblin. By the way, okay, you guys don't know what she's capable of. Oh, you just don't. Okay, so they go on, and it's unusual for the post I've read. Okay, it's unusual. It's FR, the post I read, Steve's post. It's the other person's fault. Steve is usually the common denominator, so reading Chess post is not surprising, but I could be wrong. Okay.
Oh,
So
glorious.
another thing. I'm looking forward to Mr. Keen in perpetuity. That was from Let Lumo. That's awesome. Oh my freaking God. That is awesome. Oh my God. Wow. Okay.
Oh, apparently my block list finally updated.
Wow.
I saw it update on my end. I think it got slowed down by all the people. You mad troll face with goblin ears. This is chaotic. Bullshit.
That is freaking awesome. Okay.
It's chaotic neutral. It's chaotic neutral because I'm not actually harming anybody. If it were evil, I would be causing actual harm. There's no harm happening here.
See, Chess, they told you. They all told you. They tried to tell you. You didn't listen. Damn it! Now my screen's all messed up. There we go. I gotta put you back in the corner where you belong here. One sec. There we go. All right, so that was pretty funny actually. Yeah.
I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
Oh yeah, just awesome. Sure. Yeah, I love that. Let's see here.
Beautiful.
You are. Well,
I'm a
like she wasn't
shit-
kidding, right? She could just with a tweet destroy my entire life.
I'm a little bit of a shitlord. Chaotic neutral. Yes.
You definitively chaotic neutral. There we go. You had to fix
I would
that.
like to point out that, by the way, guys, that is how you troll harmlessly. That is the higher.
Oh, you think it's harmless? Okay. Here, by the way, I put the that's the tweet. Go do your things, people. But by the way, do go ahead. Tell Chess what you really think about it. I don't care. The new non sequitur show mascot is Brett the manatee. Yes, Moon for $2. I fucking love you guys. We love you too, Moon. So much.
Are you kidding? I'm fucking hilarious. Everybody in this chat is gonna go like that tweet now and retweet it more. Yeah. And they're all gonna be posting things like, "How could Steve do this to Chesh? Oh my God, I thought they were friends." Nobody puts Chesh in the corner.
Oh my God! Nobody puts Chess in the corner. Okay, I'm gonna put that. Can I steal that? Who said that? That was funny on the live chat. I saw that. Put the
Oh, who said that? That was Zabulian.
Zabulian. Can I just steal you outright on that one?
Shit, Steve's sending his troll army out to do his bidding again.
It's not to anybody else. It's the troll Chesh. It doesn't count, does it?
Well, that's the thing. It's going to be the exact opposite. You're going to end up trolling yourself. This is going to backfire.
Bro, substantially, I have feeling. What's the real one? Nobody puts mama in a corner.
Viper strikes again.
Yeah, nobody puts baby in a corner. That's right.
I just retweeted Jish's tweet.
Nobody puts baby in a corner. Nah, you know what? I'm not even gonna. I'm just not. I'm just gonna watch these things pile up and go. Manya says, "Come on, mate, that's not fair." Oh my god.
Someone said Keon was a Cheshire sock yesterday. I died. Oh my god, that's amazing. I wish. No, I don't. I wouldn't want that on myself. That'd be horrible.
Oh my god, you're killing me, bro. You're killing me.
Thank you. Don't tease me, bro.
Why do you do this? You know what? I'm gonna make a fucking meme, and I'm gonna have like me shooting, chess shooting my career, and be like, but Steve, why?
Steve, why would you
do this?
It's gonna be great. You know what that meme would need to change to? It would be like Steve shooting me in the chair, and then me in the chair getting up saying, Steve, why would you do this? You can't hurt me. And then like blood coming out of your chest where you actually shot yourself. Surprise, it was me, Dio.
Oh my god.
Failed at engineering for 2. I just retweeted.
Okay. I'm telling her right now. I didn't know she was listening because I was like, it's a joke. I was telling her. I was like showing the video. I was like, you're making Manya. I was like, Manya. I didn't want Manya to actually think it was right. I was actually like legit telling her. I'm screen sharing that. I didn't mean to do that. Oops. Sorry. Okay, it happens. I just retweeted Chesh's tweet. Yeah, and saying oh my god, Steve, what are you doing? Why would you do this to me? To her.
Were you supposed to, or are you being sarcastic? LOL, I can't tell sometimes. I will send a message to Rachel Owens and be like, no, everything's cool.
Watch. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what anybody says at this point. Tomorrow it'll be like, some video, one of those haters gonna be like, Steve did it. Steve screwed Chess over.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No. As soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, I'm taking this. This is mine now. Don't fuck with me.
It's a Joe and Billy. It's a Joe and Billy.
God, the scummer says my plan is to make a video with the title Steve McRae arrested as a Rickroll, but it can never be as good as your tweet. Use my tweet to make a video.
Oh.
And then take the clip of Steve saying that it's not actually gonna be me doing the thing and just cut it so it sounds like complete trash, like he's being dick. Oh,
this is not gonna go well.
This has already had enough laughs that it was well worth it. Glorious.
Well, you know what's going to be is like, I told you, Steve promised it to everybody.
Oh yeah, no, that's one of the reasons why I immediately did that tweet.
Yeah, I'd like to know who have I told is going to be besides the first thing that we're doing, because again, I'm hyper honest. We are planning something a little bit different if it doesn't fall through, which would technically not make just the first host technically, but it's obviously something we're going to be playing with here. But obviously, she's going to be my co-host for Non Sequitur. So, who else have I promised it to? Because I'd like to know. I don't know. Anybody out there?
Who knows?
Anybody? Hello? Anybody out there? Who have I told will be the host of the Non Sequitur show with me? Because I don't recall telling anybody else. So, who's all these people that I've been making these promises to? I'm curious.
Brass said, I thought it was going to be me. LOL.
I did tell Mr. Brass. Yeah, actually, I told Brass he can own everything.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Come on, mate. It's not fair.
How many videos will be out there now? Steve betrayed Chesh. You guys are dicks,
Oh
man.
my god, this guy's legitimately up. Like, this guy's legitimately like, yo, fuck this guy. The Steve guy.
Get the fuck out.
Oh yeah, okay. So he said that I don't know Steve or follow him
Oh,
very
that guy.
closely. Da, 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 da. And then Owen said, "You said you don't know Steve and you don't
I
follow
don't know
him,
this
yet
person either.
you look
They do
closely."
follow me, yeah.
And so this person then responded, "I don't, but I read a lot of bad things from people," which you read already, right?
Yeah.
That's so reading Chesh's post is not surprising, but I could be wrong. I do follow his Twitter account, but I kind of stopped paying attention. Just drama and stuff. I enjoy some craziness that it transpires on Twitter, and Steve's interaction are a goldmine for them.
Fair enough. I don't know who he is, but he does follow me, so
I'm just glad Nasuth knew exactly what I was talking about with the betrayal. I'm so happy. That makes me happy inside.
who's that?
Ugh, glorious.
Who's the GIF? What's the GIF?
That's of Spoonie
Who?
from the Spoonie one. He is an old video game reviewer. He was back in his heyday. He was back with like he wasn't part of Channel Awesome, but he worked closely with Channel Awesome. He did video game reviews. Most notably, he did Final Fantasy. He did a Final Fantasy series, so eight. He reviewed eight and a little bit of. He didn't really review nine. 10. He kind of touched on 12 a little bit and 13. And then he also did a retrospective of Ultima, which is really good.
Ultima
That's where the
Online?
what's a paladin come. Yes, he reviewed like the entirety of the Ultima series. I
Manya
love
says, I
Spoonie.
can pretend it
He
was
still
me.
streams every so often. If you guys want to go see him, he calls the show Livewire. It doesn't have any kind of like scheduled thing because he's like not always in the best headspace, so he kind of does it when he can. It's really good.
Manya says, I can pretend it's me. LMFAO. No, don't try to troll like
Yeah,
Chesh.
no, we don't have to go that far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chesh is a pro. She knows what she's doing. She knows exactly what to. But yeah, it'll happen tomorrow.
William C said, "Didn't you say G-Man could be a host?"
Yeah, sorry, Chesh. I promised it to G-Man.
I absolutely loved Spoonie's. He also has a show that he used to do called Counter Monkey, and he played through the game SWAT. Both are glorious. So fucking good. I love Spoonie. I would actually love to get Spoonie on Non Sequitur because I would love to hear his take on mental health in America and like how like the healthcare system is not like set up and what changes he would suggest and like how like I don't want to really talk to him about like the personal stuff to do with his mental health issues because like that's not a cool thing to necessarily approach somebody on or like talk about publicly unless that he would want to, but I would absolutely love to have him on and give his take on how difficult it can be or easy it can be depending on where you live, like what state you're in, how much money do you need to get like proper mental health care, and what would be a good way to like move forward to make that better.
Oh, they have a good idea for a co-host. I think they're right on this. They're brilliant on this. How about this? GCat.
GCat and Puck.
That would be fun. I could do that.
GCat and Puck. I would love to get Spoonie. I don't know how to get a hold of him. I'm trying. I would also like to bring Mars Girl on as well because I would like to talk to her
I thought you
about
would talk to her.
cyberbullying stuff. I'm trying, but without having like the actual access to the show, it's a little bit. I haven't approached her too much.
Yeah, when we get the show back, I think we'll have a little more empowerment. But yeah, there's a list of people and some other stuff we're going to be making. Let's see here. Gary says, about getting DD as a co-host for the philosophical episodes. That'd be hilarious. Yeah, Darren's DD as a co-host. There you go.
Sith is high. Chesh is high. Sith Darth Trollius.
Well, you got there's two things. A lot of the trolls have you blocked, and two, it is late. So even because it's 10 o'clock my time, so it's got to be late
oh,
for
bitch,
them.
Please. Oh, bitch, please.
I know that's true. They
matters.
do. They watch this shit 24 hours. I'm convinced of that.
They watch these shows, but they also like watch our Twitter. So one of them might not be watching. They wouldn't watch the show all the way through if they see you say that, and then at Twitter at the same time I post that. Mars Girl would be really cool. I would love to have a Mars Girl. If anybody knows them or knows a good way to contact them, let me know, and I will 100% reach out to them because I would love to have them come on. I would also like to have Nux Taku come on and talk about some stuff, but I'm not sure what the topic would be yet. I haven't decided on what would be a good thing to approach him with that he might find interesting and would be good for.
I'm sure that we could probably figure out
You've been
something.
behind trees. Kawasa.
I'm just looking at some.
No, she didn't try to cancel him. That's a complicated situation, but that is something that I do want to talk to her about. I don't really want to talk to her about that, like the Vic Mignogna situation, because she didn't try and cancel him. Essentially, he had a bunch of, she had a friend, who wasn't comfortable sharing her story of like him being sexually inappropriate towards her, so she shared it for her friend. And so because she spoke about it, like now like a bunch of things have come out against him, and it's like been hemming and hawing back and forth, and like he tried to sue these people, and Funimation dropped him, and there's been like a bunch of stuff. I want to try and do a TLDR on it, but I'll get to that later. But I actually am more interested in. She spoke out for her friend, and she's taken a lot of backlash and bullying and a lot of shit for it. And I would be interesting to talk to her about that aspect of things, and not really necessarily whether I don't want to debate her about whether or not Vic Mignogna did or did not do something. That's a waste of time, in my opinion.
Are you okay with that if I had Mr. Intelligent Design take your place?
He do it.
Okay. Well, I had to decide between
Go
three
with God,
things.
I believe, is what you say.
I was like, okay, Cheshire, Intelligent Design, or Keon.
You do realize that Red Eye would murder you.
He probably would fly to the States just to kill me.
He would fly all the way there just to legitimately kill you.
But
Like,
think of
that
all
would
the
be a
discussions we
legitimate
could
threat.
have. We could talk about eggs and experiments
We can bring Egghead
and
on and talk about eggs.
satellites and all kinds of fun stuff. Because
Edgar
Edgar's
would
so
cause
smart.
physical and mental harm to people.
Yeah, we would have to come with a serious warning to people if they watch that shit. I don't want to get
Yeah.
sued for having Edgar on.
I think we figured out what the first topic's going to be, though, right? Like the first show. Should we tell people what the first show is so they can be not like the very very first episode, because that's just going to be like an announcement. Hey, we're back. Da, 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 but the first show.
Um,
Do we want to wait?
I would say wait on it because we don't think we have anything really firmly set in
Okay, that's
stone.
fine.
And
Yeah,
there's a
I'm
whole
okay with
bunch
that.
of stuff that we want to do, and it's a matter of what do you want to put first. I mean,
We got to sort some stuff out.
we got we got to resolve some things here, okay? Like for example, you
Anthony
tweeting out that I
Riley, our
betrayed
co-host.
you. Betrayed.
Anthony Riley finally won some. Betrayed! Betrayed me! What's a paladin? Play it again. What's a paladin? Again. What's a paladin? Again!
GCat versus Puck debate. Dead birds, playthings, or tasty snacks?
I don't know how Puck would be in how interested he would be in a dead bird.
I will say this, Helios. No, the first show is not about that. Matter of fact, I don't even think we're going to be mentioning him that much.
Oh, no, not happening.
Yeah.
No. Not at all.
Yeah.
Like the show's gonna be back, and I don't think we're going to even mention Kyle at all. Cause why would we? Fuck that. He's irrelevant now. Fuck him.
But anyways, I had my unleashed. Unless I mean, anything else you guys want to talk about? I just wanted to go over the flat Earth stuff. You got a chance to shill. You ruined my life by your tweet. Anything you have? What else to accomplish?
I destroyed Steve with one tweet. You know it's gonna be great. I have
I
one
didn't
thing
give
to
you
add.
consent to have sex with me like that, right? Basically, fuck me, but I didn't
You
give
could
you
at least
consent.
you could at least kiss me before you fuck me,
Right?
mom.
At least like buy me dinner or something first.
Uh, I would like, yeah. So you know what's gonna be great? That tweet is gonna get archived somewhere, and like 3 years from now, 5 years from now, that shit's gonna come up.
She's a
Or like
shitlord.
it's at some point, like Steve and I will like move on to work on other things at some point, maybe, or something. Who knows? Way down the line, and when I'm no longer on non sequitur with Steve, or if I'm never not working with Steve for whatever reason, that tweet will come up and be like, he tried to kick her 5 years from now.
I've taken over the show before we even have a chance. We're just kicking her off now.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah, a lot of people are
Oh
saying
no, I think Reds is gonna do that on his own channel.
on that debate. that was on Monitor Debates. There's this one guy going, "Well, Steve, you only have 50% of the show now." I'm like trying to explain to these people because they don't understand contract law, and they don't understand that because there was a substantial breach, the contract is considered to be unenforceable, null and void. Unenforceable means that Kyle cannot come back and enforce that contract. There is no more contract
Hashtag.
to enforce. It is no longer 50-50. It is dissolved in the now. There's some official things that we have to do, but as far as him getting 50% in perpetuity, no, that's done. That's over. He had a material breach, and a material breach of fraud makes the contract by legal things, and go ask a lawyer because I've asked. It makes it unenforceable, null and void, and unenforceable means that he could not come back and say, well, we have a 50-50 contract. No, you have breached the contract due to fraud and breach of contract. Therefore, that's no longer an enforceable contract.
I'm gonna send you something that we need to go out on because I think it's gonna be appropriate for that thing I just did on Twitter.
What's that?
I'm gonna send you it. Here you go. It's just a picture. This is what I have to say about the stupid shit I just did.
I'm looking on Twitter.
Yeah, I just sent it to you.
One sec. I'm not saying anything.
I didn't tweet it at you. I sent it to you in a. Yeah.
Are you gonna post that underneath?
I could, yeah. I was gonna post. I could post it new.
I would post it underneath the other one.
Yeah, but you're not me.
You're such a shitlord.
Show the yes, fact. That is
You guys don't even know the crap that I fucking deal with, man. Jesus.
I am definitely a shitlord. Do you want me to read the definition of shitlord?
The thing is, I had no problems until you came along.
None whatsoever.
None.
Let me pull up the
All
definition
on you.
of shitlord because there are people in here that probably don't know what the term means. Sorry. You want to pull up that picture while I'm reading this?
Yeah, I can do that. One sec. Can they see it? Oh, I got to transition it. One sec. There you go.
The top definition of shitlord on Urban Dictionary is a person who basks in the bitterness and misery of others.
Oh, that okay. Well, in that case, we're all kind of shitlords sometimes.
Oh, everybody's got a little bit of a shitlord. Well, everybody's a little. There's a difference between being a shit. Everybody's a little bit of a shit sometimes. But there's a difference between being a little bit of a shit sometimes because you're enjoying the misery of somebody because of reasons. And there's another thing to be a shit lord and be like, no, I cause this shit to people I like because it's funny.
Just because I can.
Just because I can.
What time is it for you? It's like 2:30 for you?
No, it's 1:30 for me.
I was gonna find something to watch tonight. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm sure Chesh is the problem, Steve.
Yeah.
Listen, you know
I'm
what
not the
people
common
weren't
denominator
doing?
here. It's Chesh.
People weren't laughing at your dumb bullshit drama before. Now people are laughing at your dumb bullshit drama. You're welcome.
Player 3 at the end of the game.
Yo, what up? It's me, your boy.
We do have a lot of fun. I gotta admit that. A lot of people don't. We, you, I, and about 4 other people have a very fun dynamic. And you know what? People aren't going to get in the way of that. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. Because I mean, these are real people with real friends, and it's hard for people to grasp that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. People are just looking for Steve to fuck shit up. So if I say that he fucked me over in some way, they're just gonna freak out.
They're expecting it. No, they're expecting it. How many years I've been told that? Oh, you know what, Red? Steve's gonna fuck you over, and I'm like, really? And years ago, it was actually I had people that were like, yeah, Steve's gonna fuck Reds over, and man, once he fucks Reds over, Reds is gonna destroy Steve. And I'm like, Reds are like going, really? Okay, well, when is this gonna happen? 3.5 years later, it's like, still waiting.
I honestly, like, there's so much shit that goes around in, like, the interpersonal relationships in the background that people don't know about. Like, people like somebody will be really good friends with somebody else, but because they don't talk very much publicly,
Hmm.
nobody knows that they're like really, really good friends. So like
I got
that's
a
the
lot
kind
of
of
those
shit happens all
actually.
the time. Well, a really good example is like, this one guy is super good friends with Reds guys. Like I talk to him all the time about all my real life problems. Oh, by the way, Chesh is lying to you. Some people do not realize how hilarious that is.
Yeah, well, I like when okay. I'll give you an example. Like for example, I had one of the people. Her name's Ashley. Not.
I'm apparently in a love triangle between Reds and 82 Productions.
Uh,
But I'm married to 82.
yeah, I was gonna say. Well, then Reg will be your side bitch.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and then what does that make me and Bullinator? Where do we fit in this?
Um,
You don't have time
you're
for us
grooming
anymore?
me? You're grooming me.
Okay. I'm grooming you for AT2 then.
Yes?
That- Wow, I'm the
I
worst
don't
groomer in
know.
the history of
Except
grooming.
except that you and me are the same person, so you're actually grooming yourself and you're the one
I've
who's
heard
married
that
to
one
82.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I was gonna say there's this girl who at one time had been kind of shitty toward me or judgmental toward me, and she said some certain things, and she suggested certain things about me to other people, and blah blah blah. But when times change, and she wanted to apologize to me, she told me about that stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm cool. That's fine. Whatever. I appreciate you telling me, and I believe you, and if you believe now that you realize you're wrong, I'm not gonna hold it against you. And then other people would be like, don't trust that person. That person did this, that, and that. I bet they didn't tell you that, did they? And I'm like, oh, actually, they did. Really? I'm like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I do talk
Like
to
people
people,
talk shit about other people sometimes,
but
and
that's all
it's
it was.
like
Was
it
talk shit. It
happens.
was like try to cause anonymity between me and somebody else, right?
Yeah, well, and sometimes like you can not like somebody and talk shit about them and then change your mind about them later. And there's
Frequently.
also and it's also possible that like you can get frustrated with somebody and go fucking go be mad in a corner and talk to somebody while you're mad at them, and like it's not the end of the world.
It
People
doesn't.
and people are allowed to have their opinions anyway. Like
Look,
somebody can dislike me, but me not dislike them. I don't care.
yeah. I mean, if Chess vented somewhere, it's like, God damn, Steve's being a little fucking blah blah, and it just went off and whatever. I wouldn't give a fuck. I'd be like, you have a bad day. It happens. I don't know. I
You'd
don't.
be like, "Aw,
Oh, look at her.
aw,
She's
she
trying to be
mean,"
all hard.
like an angry Kirby with a little knife.
But no, I get it a lot. I have people mess with me all the time. Like, did you hear what this person said about you? Do this, and I'm like, look, man, I don't need people really doing that. I don't have these little minions. People think
Oh
Steve has
yeah,
all these
it's like
minions asking him to tell him stuff. No, I
yeah,
really don't. I tell
shit.
people I really
Yeah.
just don't care. If it's anything important, then fine. But most people, I really don't. I'm not interested in them going. Did you hear this person said this and this person said that? I'm like, I tell people this too. Some people in the audience are like, yeah,
Well,
Steve really doesn't give a
yeah,
shit.
I could find out like let's take Fight the Flat Earth for example. Just as I'm pulling somebody out of because I really like Fight. I think he's hilarious. I think he's got an interesting way of doing things, and his giggle kills me every time. I love it. It makes me I laugh my ass off every time. He's just like it's adorable. But if I found out tomorrow that he's been talking a bunch of shit on me and he actually hates me, I would be like, oh, that's too bad. I'm kind of sad that he doesn't like me, but I mean, it doesn't change my opinion of him.
Well, yeah, but I see it happen all the time, man. I mean, I know people that are like come to my live chat and they're having fun. They're like Steve, blah blah, and then I read the comments they put on videos. Like, God, you know what? Yeah, I've been on Steve's chat, and it's so boring. I fucking hate him. I just go over and blah blah. And I know that they're full of shit. But I still keep them around because they say, you know what? They didn't do anything directly to me. They're just being two faced. That's not really a reason to kick them off. But when they start doing shit in my live chat, I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know what? You brought it over here now. Now I fucking get rid of your ass. But I've seen it happen
Well, yeah,
multiple times.
it's a
People,
different issue.
yeah, will say one thing into my live chat, or even to my face, practically, and then go on some video and say something completely different. And I'm like, oh, whatever. I'm not my brother's keeper, and I don't care. It's just I don't like two-faced people. If somebody says, look, I really hate you, but I want to be in your live chat and talk about stuff, okay, go for it. I've got no issue with that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it's whatever. Who cares? Most of
well,
that shit does not matter.
one of us. One of us.
I figured I'd come in here and tell everybody how much of a little bit of an asshole I was. And also, if you want cheap art, just let me know and send me that because I can do those, pump those out pretty quick. So if you guys are interested in some cheap art that you can use as like, if you want a picture of yourself or if you want whatever, I can do that.
Let's see here.
I've already forgotten what I said the price was going to be. I think I said 30, but I have to double check.
Now the hashtag Justice for Cheshire.
Justice for Chish. Steve's so mad. Oh no, I made King Steve mad. He's gonna kick me out of the community.
Kick me out of the kingdom.
He's gonna kick me out of the kingdom.
I so love that. I'm telling you, that's to me is still one of the most bizarre things. You disagree with Steve, you get kicked out of the great debate community. It's like, when did this fucking ever happen? I've asked Bullion the same question. I'm like, do you actually recall me ever kicking somebody out merely because they disagreed with me? And he's like, no. I'm like, then how is that something that they want to like float?
Even if you kicked me out right now, you would be kicking me out for being a little shit, not for being.
It's a difference, right?
Not for disagreeing. Hashtag what about Chish? Bull's gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, "What the fuck just happened?"
I mean, how many of my mods have disagreed with me? A lot. I mean, I think every one of them at some point probably.
No, I don't charge more. Once the art is done, it's yours. You can do it. You can use it for whatever you want, whatever purposes you want. I don't charge more for that.
And by the way, Colorado Biker Prepper has actually been to my house. We've actually head out and had some fun, so he knows where I live. I'm a real person.
I basically charge for the amount of time. I have like a starting base price because I have to set up all my material and get everything ready to go, and then I basically guesstimate about how long it's going to take me to do whatever, like however complicated it is of a thing that you're asking me to do, and then depending on the complexity, depending on how long it's going to take. So like if you have one character and then you add another character, I have to add X amount of time. So I have like a base starting price, and then it goes up from there depending on how complex or how involved it is and how long, but it essentially is how long it's going to take. So if you're like, oh, I want, because I've had a couple of people ask me, I want like an avatar, but I want an avatar designed. I want a profile picture I can use for the avatar. I want the avatar in like 3 different positions, and I also want like 3 different facial expressions. That's like, you're talking about the $30 to start with, then you're talking about, if you want like a really nice profile picture, you're looking at about $40. And then if you want a full bodied, full colored, now you're talking about, it's going to take me another 2 hours to do something like that. And then you want it in different poses. And now I can start shaving off a little bit of the price because I've got one pose down, and I can just make adjustments to that original pose sometimes. So you're looking at something that would be $30 up to $40, and then like another $30 for this, and then 30. Usually I cut those back to like by $10 to 20, and then I go from there. So it's a lot of work. So something like that ends up being like pretty like if you're talking about like wanting 6 different things and then a profile picture on top of it, you start going into things where you're just costing like close to $200 because that now I'm designing an entire like set for you essentially at that point, which is like not a problem. But.
Gary asked, "Where's Chess? Like the chance to meet her? I'll be doing a few tours back east too. She's in Canada.
I'm in Canada.
Yeah.
I'm in Canada.
She's not even American.
But I can do animals. If you want me to do an animal like this style that I showed you, like that Steve showed you guys earlier. If you want me to do an animal, yeah, I can do an animal.
So, real quick, can you explain the block list thing?
Oh, well, yeah, sure. What about it?
Oh, because somebody agreeing with me, they're like, the people were saying, well, if you don't block everybody on that block list, Steve will do this, do that. I'm like, I have nothing fucking to do with that block list. It's hers.
Okay, so what happened was that
some of those people on her block list, I don't have blocked. Matter of fact, a lot of on her block list, I don't have blocked. And on my block list, she doesn't have blocked. So, by the way, Chess isn't me, people.
Yeah, that's my personal block list,
yeah.
and there are reasons why each person are on there, and I've had people ask me why specific people are on there, and I've explained. So I essentially it's my personal block list, and I've blocked people for, like I said, reasons. And a lot of it is to help because people were asking me for it so often. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to choose to make public, because then people can just go and look, and they can choose to block people on there. They can choose not to block people on there. They can choose to come and ask me questions, or they can choose the hell, if you really wanted to, if you wanted to find people who hate Steve, go to my block list and go find the people who hate Steve and go join a club. Have fun. Like, nobody's telling you what to do with that block list. It's just information that exists.
Yeah.
However, what the community decided when people started getting death threats was that the community unanimously chose to be done with it. So we're done with it. So my block list was already public. So essentially, I just provided that link to the community to choose to do with it what they will.
Well, there you go. So did I at any time say you have to block anybody?
No, the community decided that they wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Because they gave two shits about us, which was really nice.
And some other people that, to me, was even more important that they gave a shit about. But yeah, so I mean, it was a community decision, overwhelming by everybody in the community. Was like, yeah, we want to get rid of some of these toxic people. We want to.
It wasn't even
toxicity.
your idea. I'm the one who pitched it.
Right, but yeah, but see, I knew it was going to happen. It's like
Steve,
blah. I'm like, did a fuck all. I again, her block list is her own. I do tell people though. I ask them. I say, would you mind blocking them? Because if not, I won't want them in my feed. But it's just like, if I ever remove Chesh and blocked her, she's not going to give a flying fuck. She'll understand. I removed people before. Reg removed me. It's fucking Twitter. We don't care, But
well, yeah, there are people on my list that I legitimately just don't want to have public arguments with.
Right.
So I've blocked them so I don't get myself in an argument with them, because it's not worth fighting with them over.
And
it's
I don't
just
have those same people
drama
blocked.
stuff. Yeah.
Although some of them I probably should, but I mean, we don't have the same block list. So how can people say, well, Steve says you have to block all the people on Chess's block list? I don't even have those. A lot of those people. Well, a lot of the people I have blocked, but there's quite a handful of people that I don't have blocked. She does. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And they're just completely different reasons. Now, if you're curious as to why I've blocked something, come and ask me.
Yeah, I just think that people trying to push these things about my character, and they get things so wrong. Every time.
Shocker, narrative.
Every time they get it wrong.
That's fine. We don't need to really address it.
I don't block
to be
people for
honest.
disagreements. I don't tell people they have to block people or I'm not going to talk to them, or it's just everything they say is so stupid.
If you keep talking about it, it's just going to keep rolling.
I know. I'm bored. I'm not bored with you. I don't mean that.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah, I didn't mean she's like, oh, well, thanks, Steve. What a dick. This is why people don't like you. No, I don't know. I just wanted to stream.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'm out of water.
I had a double stream today.
Oh,
I did 3 streams actually, because I was streaming on Instagram.
Oh, you're liking that now.
I'm having fun. I just kind of sip my tea, and like basically I get up and I'm usually out of the shower and my hair's wet.
What's your views on that? How many people you get?
Like 20. That's fine. Okay. And so I start the stream, and then I start my tea, and I hang out while I make my tea, and then I drink my tea, and I just hang out and chat with people. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to abandon the Spyro audience. I no longer have the PlayStation 4, so it wasn't because I chose to stop playing. It's because when all that move stuff happened, I lost all of my shit, and that includes all of my gaming systems. All of them. I don't have a single one of them anymore. The closest thing I have to a gaming system anymore still is my computer, and that needs a new graphics card. Oh, and by the way, the only reason I haven't actually replaced that graphics card yet is because some people were kind enough to send me a little bit of money, so I'll be able to replace that. I'm just waiting. There's a computer store opening up nearby me soon, and I'm hoping I can get like a decent deal from them when they open.
So, one of our friends put us.
I use OBS, yeah.
They said, I just want to point this out. This is on Twitter, but since the block list went into effect, the trolls have diminished 50 to 75%. That's true, and I would say it's higher than that, actually. As far as I've seen, about 95% it's gone. So thank you guys for minimizing the toxicity on Twitter, because it has made a huge amount of difference, and I'm not the only one noticing it. So thank you.
Did you watch the videos I sent you? About getting canceled, the apology and the cancellation video that I sent you on Hangouts right after we were done streaming earlier.
Oh, I don't think I ever got a chance to. What were they about?
Well, It's titled "I Got Canceled and I'm Sorry." So one of them is about apology videos, and the other one is about getting canceled.
No, I'll check them out later.
Toxicity. It's really funny. I think you'd appreciate it. You don't get notifications from me. I don't know if you can turn notifications on or off for Instagram. I'm not sure.
Oh my God, Nazareth, you running an AM3 socket? Damn, dude. AM3 plus? Wow, that's actually a pretty old motherboard. Yeah, that's pushing 10 years old, man. So,
Did you design this? Probably. What is it? Yes.
don't forget to watch that video there and go say hi to Glenn. It's actually in the video description as well. That's the $10 million challenge that is put in the video in the live chat.
Oh, what is that one?
It's very short. It's only about 4 minutes long, 5 minutes long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's Nuxtaku, yeah. It's Nuxtaku. I would love to have Nuxtaku come on and talk about, maybe, yeah, I don't know. Watch the 2 videos that I sent you for him, because I think he would make an interesting guest, but I don't know if that would be a good thing to talk to him about on a more serious level, but if you have a serious conversation about it, it kind of ruins the point, so I don't know.
And
No.
if
Fuck you, Letty.
if you guys want to watch the video we did this morning with Chesh and I, because it was actually pretty good.
I just show up everywhere. There's no stopping me.
I don't know how you keep getting the freaking link, man.
Goblin magic.
That was our we did this morning. It was actually really good. I was actually surprised. Let's see here. I guess I should probably go to bed, huh?
I mean, probably. We do have to do another show tomorrow.
Yeah, it's 12 hours from now.
That's true.
But I do want to watch some TV.
Oh, there you go. I gotta stay up for another hour, I think, or so. I've got some stuff I gotta finish up.
You know, this is kind of like what we do off air a lot too.
Puck is snoring.
You know, what are you doing? What do you got to do? How's Puck?
Puck is snoring. I don't know if you can hear him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we can hear Puck. And you woke him.
Yeah, I moved the computer.
He's a big fur ball. We have a dog. We have 2 doggies here, but I don't really do much with either of them. But I miss my own doggie.
Puck is best boy. You are a good boy.
Yeah.
Boop your snoot. Boop your snoot.
He's like, stop doing this to me. He's like, I never liked this.
He does not like getting his snoot booped.
No, but he likes that.
Yes, he does. Oh, there goes the foot. There goes the foot. Oh, yeah, boy. He's like, Mom, no, I'm trying to sleep, Mom.
Oh.
He likes his long nose rubs. Yeah, judo chop him in the head.
Yeah, I like doggies like that.
He's not too snuggly. Like, he's not. Once in a while, he'll like lay his head on my lap or something, but he doesn't snuggle too much. But he does like to be nearby. He likes to be around, but not intruding.
You've actually got 13 likes on your goddamn tweet.
Damn. It's because I'm fucking funny.
Yeah, you're a real riot.
Yeah, I am. Have a good night, Nasu.
Yeah. Good night, Nasu.
Yeah, Puck likes stuffed animals. He destroys them really quickly, though. He just likes to pull them apart. He really likes these balls that somebody was kind enough to send him. Like, I picked the ball up and look at his face.
Yeah. He's always in the mood to go play.
No. Like, if I do this, sometimes he'll... I don't think he's going to do it. I think he's just going to lay down. Yeah, he's not into it. Yeah, he's okay. He's a good boy. That's not even, like, the loudest that he snores. Like, he straight up snores. It's like that's quiet snoring. There are days where he's just like, Jesus, dude.
Anything else you want to go over? I'm also probably going to call it.
Uh, Puck is a shepherd collie, by the way, because I usually get that question. He's part shepherd, part border collie. When I got him, they told me he was a German shepherd crossed with a border collie, but because of his coloring and his massiveness, we're pretty sure he might actually be a king shepherd. And I think they were actually just mistaken or lying.
Red says,
Lol.
yeah, I think Steve is actually pissed at you to a small degree. No, I'm not at all, actually. Zero. I'm just really tired, and I don't know what else to like do on the stream here. I'm not.
If
No, I think it's hilarious, to be honest with you. I am actually getting a kick out of it. I'm like, okay. No, I'm
if he
not,
was
not even remotely.
if he was mad at me, I would just laugh more.
Yeah, exactly. Why give her the satisfaction?
You
No,
know, it's basically
I
what
think it's fucking hilarious. I really do.
it is. What would turn into the, oh, what are you gonna do? Grab that guy can stop me. What was his name? Michael McDoesn't exist.
Hmm.
Lol. No, I wouldn't do anything to like purposefully make Steve actually mad.
God help her, she every day.
Unless I was ever actually in a position where I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna piss him off today.
Well, that's okay. You got a sweet. You got a chess. I got a sweet. And we'll see who will end up on top. She's much more silent but deadly than you.
Yeah, this is definitely
That kitty
different.
got claws.
Oh, I agree. I
Yeah.
just don't know if I don't know if she would actually go against me though.
Probably not. Yeah, I'm screwed all the way around.
You're screwed all the way around. You
Exactly.
can't. You're.
Even Reds would be like, "Oh, you're on your own, brother."
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah, there's no help there.
Literally everybody, Jared, like that. I don't think you would. I don't know if you would have one ally if you decided you wanted to fight with me.
I don't think so. I'm trying to think. Well,
I'm basically Canada. Congratulations.
yeah, let me think. Who I gotta think of somebody that would be like. Yeah, not very. There's not very many, and the ones that would, I wouldn't want as an ally, anyways.
People are afraid of me.
All right, go to bed. Thanks, guys. Sorry, this kind of got kind of petered out at the end. I'm really tired though, and I just
We
wanna
got
lay
a.
down and watch TV.
To be fair, we got a really big laugh off of Twitter. I'm happy with that.
That was
I'm
worth
happy
it.
with just chilling. It was fucking funny.
You can sit here all you want. I could just leave the stream and you can end this if you want. So I gotta
Oh
just.
hell no! Let's get the hell out of here.
All right,
I
guys.
gotta. Yeah, go buy art for me if you want cheap art. I can do that stuff pretty easily. Send me a picture of what you want, and then just let me know if you want it as a character, and if you do want it as a character, what character, and if you want it as just like line art and painted like the other one, the second one that he showed. Just let me know which one you want, and just attach the photo that you want, and just you can hit me up on. You can either email me or you can hit me up on Twitter, whatever works for you, and I'll get started on those. Just let me know what you want and pay me first, and then I'll get those done because those ones I'll have to get paid. Like you have to pay me first for those ones, just because of the way it works, and it's pretty cheap for what you get. So
All right.
chill.
Oh yeah. Definitely. I'm hoping a lot of people do start using it for commissions. But I am really fading, and we have to do a show at 11 tomorrow. Should be
Hell
a good
yeah.
show tomorrow. I think we've got some good topics. But say good night.
Good night.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. This was fun.
Bye.